Chapter 455. It's useless. Other than the first rune, the others have all been taken. Who could be? When Zi Piao saw the situation, she fell into deep thought as well. Her heart was thumping wildly. She had seen the Violet Emperor Divine Talisman in the records of the Violet Emperor Immortal Gate. Even the Violet Emperor Immortal School's sect head didn't know the exact location of this Divine Talisman. It had been lost for a long time, and Zhang Li's discovery of it was purely a coincidence. After finding the first one, he could use it to find the other locations. Unfortunately, the others were taken away one after another. This person is very strong. Taking away the talisman isn't a simple matter. I have to defeat the great monster within. Zhang Li calculated with a flick of his fingers. He seemed to be using the innate 8 trigrams to divine what had happened in the past, but he had no clue. He knew that the person who took away the Violet Emperor Divine Talisman was an expert among saints, possibly even a great Dao saint, an existence on the same level as little Empress Jiang Nailin. Don't worry, 72 divine talismans, not one less, Jiang Li said. The one suppressing the Bone Scholar is still in my hands. I've fused boundless true qi into it. He can't form the heaven-seizing formation, so he came looking for me. And there's another meaning. I refined the 72 divine talismans, not only for my own cultivation, but also for you to become a saint. You're from the Violet Emperor Immortal Gate, so I can use the Violet Emperor Divine Talisman to help you become a true saint. Me? Let's not talk about that first. It's good that you have such intentions. But this person's cultivation is extremely strong. If he locks onto you, won't it be extremely dangerous? Zi Piao said worriedly. Are you still going to the Violet Emperor Immortal Gate? Of course, why wouldn't I go? The more dangerous it is, the more I can advance. Zhang Li didn't care at all. Besides, I can be sure that the person who obtained the Violet Emperor Divine Talisman is also going to the Violet Emperor Immortal Gate. If he's going to usurp power, then your master is in danger. I can go over and help. I'm only at the first level of meditative forgetfulness. Next, there's still the second level of forgetfulness and the third level of forgetfulness. With such a large space for advancement, as long as I meet a strong opponent, I'll be able to advance. That's true. You're too terrifying. I also want to advance at your low level. There's too much room. Zi Piao already knew that Jiang Li's cultivation was extremely terrifying and could jump to a new level at any time. Even though his opponents could suppress him, who would expect him to advance in battle? What if he advanced to the second level of meditative forgetfulness? Wouldn't his opponents be dumbfounded? Let's go to the Violet Emperor Immortal Sect. Although we didn't obtain the 72 talismans, obtaining one is still better than nothing. Zhang Li also felt a little regretful. This time, he wanted to obtain all the talismans and refine them into his limitless true qi. He wanted to complete the heaven-seizing divine formation in one fell swoop. This way, he would have enormous potential. Perhaps in the great battle in the future, he would be able to break through many realms and become a saint. Every step of advancement was dependent on accumulation. Without accumulation, even if he comprehended it, he would not be able to advance, or perhaps he would not be able to comprehend it at all. Therefore, Zhang Li tried his best to cultivate his unlimited true qi to become more vigorous. The best way was to absorb spatial energy, high-level energy, and even laws. Laws were the best tonic for unlimited true qi. After the infinite true energy absorbed even more laws, it accumulated even more vigorous accumulation. As long as Jiang Li comprehended the realm, his cultivation would immediately be ready. But now, the 72 talismans contained 72 magical laws. If he absorbed all of them, he would be able to form the heaven-seizing divine formation. The heaven-seizing divine formation was very likely a great Dao, just like Jiang Nailin's immortality great Dao and Little Thearka's life and death great Dao, a heaven-seizing great Dao. Think about it. What would happen if the heaven-seizing great Dao was fused into the infinite great Dao? Zhang Li now had the qualifications to become a saint. But now, he had only obtained one divine talisman and the white bone great Dao. His accumulation was too little. Jiang Li could barely advance to the second level of the meditative mind, let alone the third level, secondary saint, or even a true saint. His mood was a little bad after his plan was ruined. Otherwise, he could go back now and start massacre. It wouldn't be strange for him to quickly contend against Jiang Nailan. He calmed his mood and headed for the Violet Emperor Immortal School with Zi Piao. Soon, the two of them arrived at the depths of a mountain range. The mountain range was the color of amethyst, and immortal qi flowed within. The trees, flowers, and medicine fields were all filled with immortal qi. A great formation was slowly revolving in the sky. The area of the Violet Emperor Immortal School was very large, about 5 million square kilometers. Jiangli saw many countries outside, and they were all still in the feudal era. This was a very normal thing. Any sect would raise many countries. Jiangli was very familiar with the sects in the cultivation world. For example, the Great Emperor sect that was destroyed back then. They raised hundreds of thousands of countries. Their population was almost the same as the humans on Earth. The people of this sect were high and mighty like the heavens. They watched the people struggle in the mortal world and chose geniuses to cultivate. The bigger the sect, the more countries they raised. Although the Violet Emperor Immortal School wasn't as powerful as the Great Emperor sect back then, they still raised many countries. At a glance, there were cities everywhere. The people were like ants. Let's go in. This great formation is called the Hatred Parting Sky Formation. It was set up by our Violet Emperor Immortal School for countless years. The entire sect prayed day and night to condense and use the essence of the Hatred Parting God curse to form this invincible great formation. They were completely capable of resisting saints and even killing them. As long as a strong enemy attacks, we can use the Hatred Parting God curse to kill the enemy through space. Zi Piao introduced. Her body emitted purple light as she pulled Jiang Li into the Great Formation. Otherwise, outsiders wouldn't be able to enter the Great Formation, not even Jiang Li. The Hatred Parting God curse is a peerless martial art. I've heard of it for a long time. Jiang Li said, the 10 great martial arts are second only to the supreme of longevity scripture. In the cultivation world, the supreme of longevity scripture is undoubtedly the number 1 martial art, followed by the 10 great martial arts. Hatred Parting Curse, Blood Devil Scripture, Heavenly Emperor Technique, Fist of the Overlord, Immortal Ascension Chart, Book of Transformation, 1000 Demon Illustration, Complete Tao Formula, Secret of 8 Desolations, and Heavenly Yuan Strike. I didn't expect you to be so familiar with the martial arts of the cultivation world. Zi Piao was shocked. I really suspect that you are from a cultivation world and not a human from Earth. You don't seem to have the temperament of a human from Earth at all. Instead, you have the temperament of the cultivation world perfectly. This temperament is my inspiration. No one can tell. I am indeed a human from Earth, but I also have an indissoluble bond with the cultivation world. Jiang Li said, it's very complicated. It's a long story. Then take your time to explain. Someone is here to welcome me. Zi Piao waved her hand and a beam of light shot out. Immediately, many people appeared in front of her. They were all women. Some carried cranes and lanterns, some carried huge fans, and some carried a carriage with dragon and phoenix engraved on it. They arrived in front of Zi Piao. A woman said, welcome back to the sect, eldest senior sister. Please get on the carriage. Zi wants you. Zi Piao smiled. In the past, Zi was the one to welcome me. Why are you here today? Eldest senior sister, an honorable guest came today. The sect leader is meeting him personally. Zi Wan said, Zi, you want to serve him, so I came here to welcome you. Oh, what kind of guest? Such a grand occasion, so many people waiting on him, and the sect leader is even speaking to him personally? There doesn't seem to be such a person in the cultivation world. Zi Piao said, I heard it's the descendant of the longevity emperor. Mr. Jun Songxing is here. Zi Wan said, so the sect leader is meeting him personally. This time, he contacted all the sects and clans and prepared to join forces to fight against the outer space devils and drive them out completely. What? The descendant of the longevity emperor is here? That's a legendary figure? Zi Piao was shocked. She couldn't help but look at Zhongli. It was obvious that things were serious. Zhongli also frowned. It was one thing for the sex in the cultivation world to have protectors, but it was rumored that they were the descendants of the Eternal Emperor. Back then, he only had memories of the legends and had never seen them in person. Now, they had suddenly appeared. What other news did you hear? Zi Piao asked. Eldest senior sister, it seems that they're discussing a person called Jiang Nalan. They say that this person infiltrated their family and seduced their family saintess. He stole the supreme scripture of longevity. This time, they're going to get it back and kill the outer sky demon. Ziwan suddenly said in a very careful manner. There's such a thing? I know Jiang Nalan. He's the #1 figure among the demons from outer space. Zi Piao had many thoughts in her mind. This is? Ziwan noticed Jiang Li standing behind Zi Piao. This is a friend of mine. He's definitely my confidant. Zi Piao said. He represents a huge force behind him. This time, he came to discuss with the sect leader about the cooperation between sections. Let's go. Let's go meet the sect leader. As she spoke, she pulled Jiang Li into the carriage and was carried into the depths of the Purple Emperor celestial sect. Some of the female disciples who were serving them were amazed. Some of them even started discussing. Eldest senior sister is actually in the same carriage with a man? Who is this man? Doesn't eldest senior sister have a fiancé? It's eldest senior brother Huang Jiuji. Your news is too outdated. Huang Jiuji has gone to the world of the demons from beyond the heavens and has already perished. Even the sect's most valuable treasure has been lost. Right now, the Royal Heaven sect is like a bereaved parent. Eldest senior sister has never liked Huang Jiuji in the first place, but on account of the other party's sect master, she reluctantly got engaged and doesn't interact with him. Who is this man? He actually got eldest senior sister's favor? By doing this, eldest senior sister clearly shows that this man is her Mr. Right. What do you think of his temperament? I can't tell. But when he came to our Purple Emperor Celestial sect, he's actually neither servile nor overbearing. It's as though he's used to big scenes. This person can't be underestimated. I wonder how strong he is. His strength is definitely not weak. Otherwise, eldest senior sister wouldn't have taken a fancy to him. But this time, I heard that the descendant of the Eternal Emperor is also here for a marriage alliance. Seems like there's going to be a good show to watch. This man has an extraordinary bearing. I can tell that he's experienced big scenes. Also, I can feel the aura of a saint from him. What? Saint? That's impossible, right? Chapter 456. When Jiang Li heard these words, he turned a deaf ear to them. He didn't mind. This time around, the reason he came here was to rope in the Violet Emperor Immortal Sect. If not, if all the sects in the cultivation world joined forces to deal with his base, things would truly be troublesome. Hence, he had to do his best to form alliances, break them one by one, and suppress them one by one. The Violet Emperor Immortal Sect had roped in his eldest senior sister. Her future successor, Zi Piao, had to have a foundation, and it would be easier to negotiate. Of course, he wasn't afraid that these sects would really attack. If they came, he would kill them all. Civilization had always been accompanied by war. The mother nest of the insect race in the sect's base needed a large amount of souls and flesh energy to level up. However, unless it was absolutely necessary, he wouldn't start a large-scale war. He would still prioritize peace. Sitting together with Zi Piao in the carriage, he didn't feel uncomfortable at all. His mood was calm. After so many years, what hadn't he seen before? After cultivating the boundless Tao, his mind was calm, without a trace of distracting thoughts. He was one with the Tao at all times, no longer having any other thoughts. He was like the Tao, like the laws, like the heavens, like the intent of dimensions. The carriage entered the depths of the Violet Emperor Immortal Sect. Numerous palaces floated in the air, supported by purple clouds. They were majestic, and the sound of bells rang out unceasingly. Numerous purple clouds condensed into a sea of clouds, with all sorts of strange flowers and plants growing on them. There were also some divine beasts galloping in the sea of clouds. There were also some children raising these divine beasts, floating about. It was a scene that only immortals could have. How is it our immortal sex technology isn't inferior to that of the modern era, right? Zi Piao looked at her own sect, feeling a sense of pride. The cultivation civilization has its unique points, and the mechanical civilization also has its benefits. That is, it can be popularized. When the two are combined, it will be even more perfect. Jiangli pondered. Actually, humans on Earth are now walking the path of a combination of the two. There are clear cultivation steps, external use of technology, internal cultivation of the mind, and the system is full of order. As long as there are no major fluctuations and they continue to walk this path, they will definitely be able to stand at the peak of civilization. This is because under the system of Earth civilization, any genius can stand out and not be buried. But in the cultivation world, how many geniuses die young and how many talents can never stand out and contribute to the race? The system on Earth is indeed good. Meng Jiangnan has become the president, but he can't shake the foundation of mankind. He is cautious in everything he does. It can be seen that he has locked his power in a cage. Zi Piao said, "What I'm going to do now is to reform the sections. I'm going to start from the small countries and instill the idea of equality in them. I'm going to change them according to Earth civilization. This is very difficult. Humans on Earth have gone through countless wars in history to understand this. If we forcefully change a civilization, people won't be convinced. It's easy to kill someone, but it's hard to change their worldview." Jiangli sighed. "Therefore, if the cultivation world and humans on Earth want to merge together, we will definitely have to go through a huge war. Countless lives will be lost. Only then can the civilization be on the right track." Boom! He wanted to say more, but the carriage had already landed. They arrived in front of palace. This palace was extremely huge, and there were many stairs that went straight into the clouds. On both sides of the stairs stood many 3 to 4 meter tall giant men wearing golden armor. These are the golden armored warriors. They have cultivated the art of strength and are very talented. Each of them is very strong. Zi Piao introduced, "Let's go up. Go straight into the palace. All of you stay here." Her last sentence was to Zi Wan, who came to welcome her. Yes, eldest apprentice sister. Zi Wan and the others were very respectful. Zi Piao and Jiangli flew up, past the many stairs, and entered the palace. There were many layers of guards in front of the palace. They were all golden armored warriors, but none of them stopped them. Jiangli even saw a few giants that were tens of meters tall. Their skin was very smooth, and they held huge war hammers in their hands. When they breathed, thunder and lightning flashed. There was even a lightning rune on their foreheads. Titan giants? Jiangli was shocked. From his ancient memories, he could see that these were Titan giants that were even stronger than the Saya giants. They were the true descendants of the gods. They were very strong, and they were good at controlling lightning. Some giants could even communicate with the Thunder Realm and summon destructive lightning to destroy the living beings on the planets. Right now, these Titan giants that were tens of meters tall were all strong enough to defeat meditative realm experts. However, these Titan giants were only tens of meters tall, and they were still young. Their combat strength wasn't very strong. Yet, they were used to guard the door. This meant that they were very strong in the Violet Emperor Immortal Sect. This was the place with the strictest security in the entire sect. Yet, Zi Piao was able to enter as though there was no one here. From this, one could tell how much authority she had in the sect. She was the successor of the sect leader. "Piao is here. Come on in." A lazy voice floated out from within. "Yes, master." Zi Piao brought Jiang Li and stepped into the true inner hall. In the depths of the inner hall, there was a small world. There were many strange flowers and herbs, and the ground was made of materials formed from energy. There were a few thrones placed casually, and at this moment, there was a woman seated on the main throne. This woman was dressed in palace robes, exuding a noble, gorgeous, and elegant aura. Her brows were long and slender, and she exuded the aura of someone who had been in power for a very long time. Her prestige filled the 9 heavens, and her words were law. This was none other than the supreme leader of the Violet Emperor Immortal sect, Zichangye. Zhongli also knew of Zichangye's fame. This woman could be said to be a heaven-defying genius. She went on expeditions and slaughtered, slaying devils and devils, fighting against saints, contending against all directions. She was a woman who controlled the sect, causing the sect to flourish. This woman had great talent and bold vision. The moment Zhongli entered the great hall, Zichangye stared at him. Zichangye's gaze was fixed on him. His gaze was as sharp as a blade, as though he wanted to see through everything about Zhongli. However, Zhongli didn't care. His strand of true intent had fused perfectly with the Grand Emperor's relic. It wasn't something that a saint could see through. Only a great Tao saint would be able to see through him. There was another person sitting on the guest throne in the great hall. It was a middle-aged man clad in armor, and he resembled a god of war. He was also a saint. Beside this middle-aged man stood a young man with an elegant demeanor. He held a folding fan in his hand, and there was a jade pendant hanging on his wrist. With a single glance, Zhongli knew that these two were father and son. Moreover, they were the descendants of the eternal emperor. The middle-aged man clad in armor was none other than Jun Songxing. Master, this is a good friend of mine. I brought him here to see you. I hope to discuss some matters regarding the future development of our sect. Zi Piao explained hurriedly. Oh, your friend? You brought him here directly? That's not an ordinary etiquette. Zichangye smiled faintly. Piao, did you find another fiancé? Your fiancé, Huang Jiuji, died in the world of the demons. I was just about to find another fiancé for you, but you actually brought one back. Young man, which sect are you from? Master, this isn't my fiancé. He's just a friend of life and death. Zi Piao hurriedly corrected herself. Zhongli had no choice but to speak now, because Zichangye had already asked him. He took a step forward, completely ignoring the pressure of a saint. I'm Zhongli, the successor of the Great Emperor's Door, and the current leader of the Limitless Demons Group. What? Zichangye heard Zhang Li's introduction and stood up abruptly. You're the successor of the Great Emperor's Door? An otherworldly demon? How dare you show up here? No, I'm not an otherworldly demon. Zhongli knew that the hatred between humans and the cultivation world couldn't be resolved, so he couldn't say that he was an otherworldly demon for now. I'm the successor of the Great Emperor's Door. The successor of the Great Emperor's Door? I'm going to surround you, the fake successor. Zichangye's body moved, and the entire hall was enveloped by a rune, completely sealing the place. Jun Songxing and the young man didn't move, watching Zichangye's actions. They were guests, and the guests should follow the host's orders. I'm indeed the successor of the Great Emperor's Door, but isn't the leader of the otherworldly demons, Meng Jiangnan, also from the Dream Sect? This time, I've already communicated with Zi Piao. The Great Emperor's Door and the Purple Emperor Immortal Door will work together to deal with some future dangers. In the future, whether it's the cultivation world or the otherworldly demons world, they will all face a huge upheaval. Zhongli said confidently, if we work together, we can deal with all dangers. Zi Piao knows my strength, the power behind me, and also knows that I can control everything and create a perfect fusion between the two worlds. Create a perfect fusion between the two worlds. At this moment, the middle-aged man in armor, Jun Songxing, couldn't help but say, Young man, this is your idea? It seems like you're indeed from the otherworldly demons. Do you think you can still run away today? Heaven's Net has a long way to go. I'm also Jiang Nalin's enemy. In this world, I'm the first person Jiang Nalin wants to kill. Zhongli knew that the descendants of the great Emperor Changsheng and Jiang Nalin had a blood feud. Jiang Nalin is going to die, but you're not a good person either. Limitless Group, Great Emperor's Door. I more or less know some secrets. Jun Songxing casually sat on the throne. That year when the Great Emperor's Door was destroyed, the most precious treasure, the Great Emperor's relic, went to the world of the otherworldly demons and was picked up by you. You're just a small demon, but you advance by leaps and bounds, becoming a character that looks down on all heroes. With a flip of your hand, you created a huge group and reached where you are today. I've long heard of your name. Meng Jiangnan is one of us. He became the leader of the otherworldly demons, but you obstructed him. 3 months later, you even wanted to have a life and death battle with him. Am I right? You even opened the teleportation formation, allowing the otherworldly demons to enter our world and launch a large-scale invasion. You're more vicious than any other demon. If you die, we will no longer have a problem exterminating the otherworldly demons. Is that so? When Zhongli heard these words filled with killing intent, his expression didn't change at all. These are merely rumors. Also, this is the Violet Emperor Immortal Sect. I came here today to discuss some matters with the sect leader of the Violet Emperor Immortal Sect. I'm not here to discuss with the descendants of the everlasting Immortal Emperor. How arrogant. The young man next to Jun Songxing waved his fan. You're not a saint yet, right? How dare you speak like this in front of Saint? I heard that you want to compete with Meng Jiangnan. All right, I'm just a little stronger than Meng Jiangnan. I'll suppress you here, and Meng Jiangnan won't have anything to do with it. Chapter 457. Wait. Zi Piao went up to stop him, afraid that Zhongli would be at a disadvantage. Although she knew how strong Zhongli was, it was hard for 2 fists to fight against 4 hands. Moreover, Jun Songxing was here. This person was terrifying and was most likely a saint of the Great Tao. The situation in front of her was extremely dangerous. If things went wrong, blood would be spilled. This was definitely not a situation she wanted to see. Master, Zhongli came here with the intention of peace. Moreover, when 2 countries are at war, they don't kill envoys. If he has evil intentions, why would he come here alone? Moreover, when I came here, I already promised that if anything happens to him, I will be the one to blame, Zi Piao said to Zi Changye. Zi Piao, have you fallen in love with him? Zi Changye asked directly. I don't think I've ever seen you so protective of a man. Even your ex-fiancé treated him coldly and never pretended to be nice to him. You didn't even want to see him. How did you become like this? Could it be that he used some sort of bewitching technique to steal away your soul? You should know that you are my disciple and the one who will take over the sect in the future. There can be no mistakes. Today, even if others don't act, I will act and kill the demon from beyond. I don't want you to end up like the eternal emperor's descendant, the Saintess. Demons from beyond the heavens are good at seducing the women of our cultivation world. I can't let my disciple follow in his footsteps. No, Master, he already has a wife, and she is a saint. Your disciple is thinking for the sake of the Violet Emperor Immortal Sect and the people of the world. This time, I went to the world of the demons from beyond the heavens and had many thoughts. The world of the demons from beyond the heavens is barren, and they are not as rich as us. But they have many talents and have attacked our world time and time again. Is it our world's problem or someone else's? If we learn from their advanced system, we can also become stronger. Zhongli actually cares about the world and doesn't want the 2 races to fight. Master, why don't you listen to his sincere words? Zi Piao tried her best to explain. Oh, your thoughts are scattered. Zi Changye's face was as cold as frost. You're actually speaking up for the demons from beyond the heavens. Looks like you're not worthy of being the eldest senior sister. In the future, I can't pass my position to you. You're wrong. Zhongli suddenly said, Zi Changye Saint, haven't you noticed that Lady Zi Piao has gradually formed her own views and ideals? This is the beginning of her own Tao. She is your true successor, and her future achievements may even surpass yours. Impudent. Suddenly, Zi Changye flicked his finger, and a spell flew through the air. It was so fast that there was no time to dodge, and it had already reached Jiang Li. Curse of hatred, Zi Piao exclaimed. In the blink of an eye, the incantations were densely packed, wrapping around Jiang Li's body. They wriggled nonstop, as if countless worms were gnawing at his body. Those who were afflicted with the hatred separation curse would forever live in hatred, unable to extricate themselves. The pain of falling into the abyss of regret was not something that others could understand. However, as Jiangli took a step forward, the limitless true qi in his body slowly unfolded, and the hate of parting curse dissipated like snowflakes, eventually disappearing. Embryonic form of the great Tao. You're not a saint, but you've actually condensed the embryonic form of a grand Tao. How is this possible? What kind of freak are you? Even a god can't give you this, not even the Son of God. Rumble. Seeing this scene, Jun Songxing was the first to be shocked, and he almost could not help but jump up. It was as if he had seen an unbelievable scene. Jiang Li's cultivation was indeed incredible. Countless saints could not condense a great Tao. There were many saints in the entire multiverse, but great Tao saints were few and far between. There might not even be one great Tao saint out of 10,000 saints. Now, Jiang Li only saw two great Tao saints, Little Darch and Jiang Nalan. As for great Tao experts in the cultivation world, there was not one yet. Perhaps Jun Songxing had the aura of great Tao, but Jiang Li felt that this person was not as strong as Little Darch and Jiang Nalan. As for Zichangye, he was not a great Tao expert, and he had not even condensed the embryonic form of Tao. He had only cultivated some nomological laws. Embryonic form of great Tao. Zichangye was also shocked. He has cultivated the embryonic form of great Tao without becoming a saint? This is something that has never happened before in our cultivation world. So, young man, you are no match for me. Jiang Li looked at Jun Songxing. Jun Songxing's face was already pale. You need to cultivate more. Your achievements are much worse than Meng Jiangnan's. According to your cultivation, you are at most a minor character. Kill him. The young man could not help but say, Father, sect leader Zichangye. He is the leader of the demons from beyond. If we don't kill him and let him grow, what will happen? Young man, if you do not show your strength, I can let you go. After all, envoys are not killed in a war between two countries. Jun Songxing's face was cold, and he was filled with killing intent. But you have too much room to grow. I cannot let you go, so you must die. Zi Piao, move aside. Zichangye was ready to attack. This person must die. Wait. Jiang Li waved his hand, not afraid at all. He said to Zichangye, wait for me to say something before you attack. What do you want to say? Zichangye asked. I just want to ask Jun Songxing. Jiang Li changed the topic. Jun Songxing, you are the protector of the cultivation world, the descendant of Emperor Changsheng, but you cannot cultivate the Grand Tao. Instead, you need to borrow the Grand Tao left by the seniors of the Purple Emperor Immortal School to reach the heavens in one step. However, the Grand Tao must be formed by yourself. Anyone's Grand Tao is useless. How about I ask you to return the Purple Emperor Divine Talisman to the Purple Emperor Immortal School? I see that sect leader Zichangye has already comprehended the Tao left by the Purple Emperor Immortal School. It is not impossible to inherit the heaven-stealing Grand Tao. Your cultivation is incompatible with the Tao of the Purple Emperor Immortal School, so you cannot use it. Forcefully suppressing it will only leave hidden dangers. What did you say? Jun Songxing was shocked. How do you know? So he secretly took the Purple Emperor Divine Talisman. Zi Piao said, he still dares to come to our Purple Emperor Immortal School. What does he want? What are you talking about? Zi Piao, what is going on? Zichangye knew that there was a huge change. It's like this. Zi Piao explained the situation. The Purple Emperor Divine Talisman contains the heaven-stealing Grand Tao. Now is the time for it to appear, but it was taken away by someone. What does he want? I want to obtain the 72 Purple Emperor Divine Talismans and use my Grand Tao to refine the heaven-stealing Grand Tao. After my spirit is perfected, I will refine the divine talismans one by one and return them to their origin. Then, I will use this opportunity to let Zi Piao become a saint. Only the embryonic form of my Grand Tao, in addition to my Grand Emperor's relic, can do this. So I hope that, Jun Songxing, you hand over the Purple Emperor Godly Talisman. Jiang Li's tone was a little aggressive. What proof do you have? Jun Songxing's gaze was sharp. It's very simple. You only collected 71 divine talismans. There is still one left. Your Grand Tao is incomplete and cannot tolerate any flaws. Moreover, Your Tao is incompatible with the heaven-stealing Grand Tao. It might even conflict with the heaven-stealing Grand Tao. It cannot be fused together. So, you can only suppress the divine talismans in your body and cannot refine them. Do you believe that as long as I activate the white bone law, a flaw will appear in your body? Zhongli had a card up his sleeve. At this moment, he was absolutely not afraid of saints. Moreover, he had already seen through the truth. Jun Songxing was very strong, but he forcefully suppressed the 71 divine talismans. That was because he did not have the infinite Grand Tao, nor did he have the Grand Emperor relic. As he spoke, Jiang Li's finger moved, and a beam of light shot up into the sky. Immediately, the purple light in Jun Songxing's body whistled, resonating with each other. It was like a long-lost brother meeting again. Do you believe me now? Jiang Li said to Zi Changye. I can see that Jun Songxing has the ambition of a wolf and cannot be easily trusted. He cannot refine the heaven-stealing Grand Tao. He is here to find the last divine talisman and seize the Violet Emperor Immortal School's foundation. That's right, Master. Jiang Li is absolutely trustworthy. I've been cultivating with him, and I've already received a lot of benefits. He even personally asked the Great Tao, saint behind him, to help me cleanse my body. Moreover, I've also repelled the dragon dimension's heavens that had invaded the cultivation world. I've also received a portion of it, and now my cultivation has more than doubled compared to before. Moreover, Zi Piao had indeed received great benefits. When the heavens rewarded her, her cultivation base skyrocketed, saving her a few hundred years of bitter cultivation. Zi Changye was a little suspicious. She could naturally see that her disciple's cultivation base had skyrocketed. Moreover, Jun Songxing had indeed collected the Violet Emperor Divine Talisman. This way, she really could not trust anyone. However, the Violet Emperor Divine Talisman was a legendary treasure. After obtaining it, the Violet Emperor Immortal School would have the heaven-stealing Grand Formation. Her cultivation base would also improve rapidly. Even if she could not comprehend the Great Tao herself, with the heaven-stealing Grand Formation, she could fight against Great Tao experts. No matter what, one's own strength was the most important. Mr. Jun Songxing, the Violet Emperor Divine Talisman, is our sect's treasure. It was left behind by our ancestors. I hope you can return it to its rightful owner. Zi Changye had thought it through. Seeing her disciple vow to follow Jiang Li and that her cultivation base had indeed skyrocketed, she had nothing to say. However, Jun Songxing had secretly taken the divine talisman and suddenly came. There must be some scheme. In the cultivation world, the sects were like fire and water. Everyone wanted to destroy the other. However, among the humans on Earth, many people could unite against a common enemy. This is an ownerless item. I collected it from outside. Jun Songxing obviously would not give it to her. Sect leader Zi Changye, we should unite against a common enemy. Don't be bewitched by this demon from outer space. I came with peace. Moreover, the cultivation world's heavens has already recognized me. I will not bring any threat to the cultivation world. I also do not want to destroy any sections. But you seem to be plotting something. Jiang Li asked repeatedly. Are you colluding with other sects to devour the Violet Emperor Immortal School? Chapter 458. Jiang Li pressed on, seizing the chance to force Jun Songxing and the Purple Emperor Immortal Sect against each other. Moreover, he wasn't trying to sow discord, because Jun Songxing was definitely up to no good. He was trying to expose the evil plot. You're spouting nonsense and trying to sow discord. Sect leader Zi Changye, don't bother with this demon. Let's kill him together and take his embryonic form of the Great Tao. You'll also have a chance to become a Great Tao saint, Jun Songxing roared. Jun Songxing, let's not talk about this first. Please return the 71 Purple Emperor Divine Talismans to our Purple Emperor Immortal Sect. They belong to us. You have no use for them. Zi Piao naturally helped Jiang Li. She looked at Jun Songxing and the others. Sect leader Zi Changye, what do you think? Jun Songxing turned to ask Zi Changye. The Purple Emperor Divine Talismans are the foundation of our sect. I have to take them back. Zichanya wasn't stupid. To be able to sit in the position of sect leader, he naturally knew who was more important. Mr. Jun Songxing, how about this? Return the talismans to our sect, and we will join forces to kill the demon from beyond? You have to know that you are forcefully suppressing the talismans. Your strength will decrease instead. After returning them to our sect, we can use our greatest power to suppress this person. How about that? All right. Jun Songxing's face kept twitching. Sect leader Zi Changye, I will return the purple Emperor Divine talismans to you. Catch. As he spoke, purple light shot out from his body. 71 rays of light flew out and enveloped Zi Changye. Not bad. These are the purple Emperor Divine talismans. Zi Changye nodded with a smile. He grabbed with his hand, and a small world spatial crack was about to collect all 71 rays of purple light. Jiangli shouted, "Careful, there's an ambush." Too late. A ray of gold light rushed out from the purple light. The gold light transformed into a human figure. This figure looked like an emperor. He wore a flat crown and rushed in front of Zi Changye, punching out. At this moment, Jun Songxing moved. A huge barrier covered Jiang Li and Zi Piao. His body moved to Zi Changye's back, and he also punched. He actually took the opportunity to unleash a killing blow. Royal Heaven Sect's Sect Master. Zi Changye was shocked as well. His face was pale, and he was terrified. To think that Jun Songxing had secretly hidden the Sect Master of the Royal Heaven Sect. At this moment, he suddenly launched a sneak attack. This was clearly a plan to exterminate the Violet Emperor Immortal Sect. Back then, when Zi Piao and Huang Jiuji were married, the relationship between the two great sects was quite good. However, ever since Huang Jiuji died, the relationship between the two great sects became extremely bad. Now, they actually joined hands with Jun Songxing to launch a sneak attack. It seemed like they had really fallen out. Oh no, master. Zi Piao's face was also drenched in sweat. She was extremely nervous. At the same time, a transcendent artifact covered her and Jiang Li. This is a spirit formation seal created by the Royal Heaven Infinity Curse. Jiang Li was calm in the face of danger. He could tell what it was at first glance. His eyes flashed, and his hand was like a sharp blade as he slashed through the air. Limitless divine fist, heavens will like a blade, indestructible, dimensional slash. Great Tao crack. This simple slash of his used the essence of the Great Tao. With the Great Tao as the sharpness, it transformed into martial arts and sliced through dimensions. No spells, or transcendent artifacts could withstand a single blow. As long as it wasn't the Great Tao, he wasn't afraid. With just a single slash, the spirit formation broke. Then, Jiang Li grabbed with both hands, and the broken spirit formation turned into densely packed spells that were absorbed by his limitless true qi. Rumble. After doing all this, Jiang Li seemed to have done something insignificant. He took another step forward. Zi Piao was right beside him. She didn't feel any energy or true qi, but she saw everything in front of her change color. The sky fell and the earth cracked. The starry sky collapsed, and many huge stars fell. The vicissitudes of the universe were played out. This punch of Jiang Li seemed slow, but it surpassed the limits of speed. Jiang Li moved later, but arrived first, blocking in front of Jun Songxing, causing him to have no choice but to turn around and face Jiang Li instead. Originally, Jiang Li wasn't a saint. No matter how much he attacked, he wouldn't be able to cause any damage to a saint. However, he was someone who had condensed the embryonic form of the Great Tao. Moreover, he had integrated the power of the Godhead of a true God. After the embryonic form of the Great Tao was cultivated by the Godhead of a true God, it could cause damage to the laws of a saint. Jiang Li's vitality had reached more than 600 points, which had already surpassed that of an ordinary saint. His punches were shocking, and all laws were overturned. Moreover, the limitless Great Tao had the effect of dissolving any laws and could harm the foundation of a saint. The foundation of a saint wasn't spiritual energy, nor was it their physical body. Instead, it was the laws that they had condensed themselves. When the laws crumbled, they would die. As long as the laws remained, even if their souls were gone, they could be regenerated. This was the realm of the saint. This domineering punch was something that even the attack of the Royal Heaven sect leader would pale in comparison to. Jiang Li's fist technique had already enveloped Jun Songxing. Jun Songxing had originally thought that the Royal Heaven's infinity spell barrier would be able to trap Jiang Li for a very long time. However, he hadn't expected the other party to be so strong. With just one strike, the spell barrier had been broken, and he had even counterattacked. Without thinking, he turned around and punched. Junior, you're still not a saint after all. You're still too inexperienced. Live forever and sweep through the universe. His fist force surged, and his eyes were wide open. True chi surged all over his body, and many laws were resonating with each other. It was as if they were playing a magnificent demon-subduing movement. Rumble. His punch was even more imposing than Jiang Li's, and his face was even more disdainful. If you're not a saint, so what if you formed the embryonic form of the Great Tao? The embryonic form of the Great Tao isn't the Great Tao. What's the use? A saint is a saint. No matter how many tricks you play, if you're not a saint, only death awaits you. Bang! He waved his fist like an ancient god waving a planet and smashing it down. It was as if he was attacking planets like bullets. Jiang Li's fist technique was defeated bit by bit. In the end, his entire person exploded into many streaks of vital energy that flew everywhere. Oomph. You can't even withstand a single blow. I will completely destroy and refine you. The embryonic form of your great Tao is very useful to me. I can refine you into a treasure. Jun Songxing's body shook. His 5 fingers clawed, and a law shot out to capture Jiang Li. Rule bind. This was his law. Bind. As he moved, many thin threads formed a large net that searched everywhere in space. It was like fishing in the water and could capture any prey. This was originally a mystique that many sects had, the capture technique. However, to turn a mystique into a law was not so simple. Bind. This law, when extended, could bind all things and souls. If taken a step further, it could even transform into the great Tao of cause and effect. Once it bound someone, they would basically be unable to cut it off. They would be bound forever. Unfortunately, this was useless against Jiang Li. That was because Jiang Li had been scattered by his punch. He had actually turned into 71 streaks of vital energy that slithered around like spiritual snakes. They actually started to combine with the 71 talismans that had flown out, giving off a dazzling light. So, Jiang Li had not been scattered by him, but had automatically dispersed to absorb the 71 talismans. The 71 talismans had originally been suppressed, worn down, and their power weakened. This was very convenient for Jiang Li. Once he combined them, he could feel the 71 laws within. They flowed with one another. Some laws were sharp, like the metal demons. Some laws were thick, like the earth. Some laws were hot. Some were soft, and some were fast. The 71 laws merged with the white bone laws in his body. Suddenly, they started to form a formation. The sky-seizing formation. The sky-seizing Great Tao. In the depths of the 71 talismans, there were monsters sealed. If Jiang Li obtained them, he would have to waste a bit of time to suppress them. But now, Jun Songxing had suppressed most of the monsters, so it was easy for him to suppress them. Grand Emperor Relic. Jiang Li roared again. A passageway opened up in the air. Within the passageway, a vast god's might descended. That god's might immediately calmed the restless 72 talismans and allowed them to merge into the depths of the infinite true chi. Jiang Li felt that in the depths of his infinite Tao, another great Tao had appeared. The sky-seizing great Tao. However, the two couldn't merge. According to theory, Jiang Li's infinite Tao could contain all Taos. However, it was not the true Tao, but the embryonic form of the Tao. The embryonic form of the Tao couldn't refine Taos. Fortunately, he didn't care about this. This was a wealth he had accumulated. It was like a merchant suddenly had a mountain of gold. Although he couldn't use it, when he needed it, it would explode. Jiang Li had this accumulation. In the future, when his realm increased, he wouldn't need any vitality replenishment. His life force didn't increase. The sky seizing great Tao calmed down in his body and didn't increase his combat power. However, it made his life force thicker and richer. When his realm increased again, he might be able to truly activate the sky, seizing great Tao, and even refine this great Tao. Haha! He condensed back into his physical form and protected Zi Piao. Zi Changye also forced the Imperial Heaven sect master away with a punch. Thank you, Jun Songxing, for gathering all 71 talismans and refining them for me. How about now? They all belong to me. Your wild ambitions and evil plans have been exposed by me. Don't tell me you still want to walk out today? Zi Changye stared at the two saints. Jun Songxing, Imperial Heaven Sect Master, the two of you really disregarded the rules and attacked me. I'm afraid you won't be able to escape justice today. Humph! You colluded with demons from beyond the heavens. Everyone has the right to punish you. The Imperial Heaven Sect Master was stunned. He snorted coldly. It's easy to resolve this. Just hand these two over to me. Your disciple caused the death of my son. Doesn't he deserve to die? Let's cut the crap. Jiang Li walked forward. If I hadn't come today, Sect Master Zi Changye would have died here. Whatever you say is useless. Jun Songxing, you've been harboring evil intentions. I don't think you've treated Jiang Nailin as an enemy. Instead, you've cooperated with him? Chapter 459. Go! Jun Songxing did not reply to Jiang Li's words. Instead, he called out to the Imperial Heaven sect master, and both of them soared into the sky. In an instant, they actually broke through the Great Formation and left this place. Zi Changye couldn't stop him in time. Moreover, she didn't want to stop them, because even if she relied on the Grand Formation to keep the two of them here, there would definitely be a bitter battle. At that time, the sect would be destroyed, and its vitality would be greatly damaged. Killing 1,000 enemies would cause them to suffer 800 casualties, so why bother? The foundation of the Violet Emperor Immortal School was the most important. It would be best if they could expel their enemies. The entire scene fell silent. Zi Piao was the first to speak. Master, what Jiang Li said is true, right? Jun Songxing came with evil intentions and wanted to wipe out our Purple Emperor Celestial sect. If it wasn't for Jiang Li, we would have been in danger. Zi Changye stared at Jiang Li. It's true that they were harboring evil intentions, but this friend of yours isn't simple either. The 72 Violet Emperor Divine Talismans are now in your hands, and you have successfully condensed the great Tao of seizing heavens. This belongs to our Violet Emperor Immortal Sect. Take it out. Not at the moment. Jiang Li said, I have a use for it. I need to refine it carefully and use the great Tao of seizing heaven to become a saint. Once I advance, this great Tao can be abandoned. I have my own great Tao. The great Tao of seizing heaven is just a boat crossing the sea. Once it reaches the shore, it will be abandoned. Furthermore, I'm naturally going to give this Tao of seizing the heavens to Miss Violet Piao. Now that the sect lord is a saint, it's useless to you. I'm going to take it back and refine it to help Miss Violet Piao reach the saint level. So you're saying that you don't want to hand it over? I don't need you to level up. I've obtained the great Tao of seizing the heavens, and I'll activate the power of the sect to cleanse Zi Piao's body. She'll also have a chance to become a saint. Zi Changye wouldn't let it go. Master, Jiang Li definitely has a use for this great Tao. Zi Piao tried to mediate from the side. Are you siding with an outsider now? Zi Changye smiled faintly. If I want to suppress this kid now, who will you help? Do you want to join forces with this kid to fight against me? Are you going to abandon me for raising you up? Master, I hope to turn hostility into friendship. Jiang Li came with good intentions, Zi Piao hurriedly said. All right, Sect Master Zi Changye, you don't have to be so stern. It's futile even if you try to suppress me. You see my strength just now. I can definitely fight against a saint. Speaking as equals is built on the foundation of strength, and I have that strength. At this moment, Jiang Li was neither servile nor overbearing in the face of a saint. He did not care. Zi Changye could not do anything to him. Junior, are you threatening me? If you're not a saint, you're just an ant. Although you're strong, you're still lacking in many areas. Don't be so arrogant. Zi Changye's gaze shifted. I understand your intentions for coming here. You're afraid that my Violet Emperor Immortal School will join forces with many other sects to attack your Great Emperor's sect. That's why you want to drag me along with you, right? I'm not dragging you along, but rather I want to develop together. In the future, the fusion of our two civilizations is inevitable. I won't be rejected by the heavens, and you should know this as well. Even the heavens don't think that I'm a demon. Could it be that you think so? Zhongli spoke frankly with assurance. I want to establish a new order. The current order of the Violet Emperor Immortal School is actually very chaotic. If you can cooperate with me, the strength of the sect will instantly increase by 10 times. There will be rewards and punishments, and there will be order in cultivation. Why should I believe you? Zi Chanya laughed coldly. You're also a wolf with wild ambitions. Zi Piao knows my strength, and her ideals are also my ideals. This is the Tao. Zhongli looked at Zi Piao. Isn't that right, Zi Piao? Order and chaos are opposing existences. The cultivation world is too chaotic, and there's no unified order. I'm brewing my Tao. I want to establish order. My Tao is order. Zi Piao's expression was resolute. I want to walk towards this goal, and I won't have any regrets even if I die 9 times. When Zi Chanya saw the expression of his disciple, even he was shocked. He knew that this was a sign of a breakthrough in cultivation. It seemed like this disciple of his might really break through to the saint realm. Suddenly, a thought appeared in her heart. Zhongli, it's not impossible for me to cooperate with you, but we have to establish a bond of benefits. Otherwise, I definitely won't believe you. I'd rather be alone than cooperate with you. What bond of benefits? Zhongli had a strange expression on his face. Very simple. Take me as your disciple, get married, and have a child. Regardless of the child's son or daughter, both of them can inherit the position of the Violet Emperor Immortal School. How about it? I can also become the Supreme Sect leader and retire from the pugilistic world, enjoying a life of leisure and happiness, wholeheartedly cultivating the Supreme Tao. Actually, managing the entire Violet Emperor Immortal School is already a waste of my energy, causing me to be unable to cultivate in peace. But I definitely won't hand the Violet Emperor Immortal School over to an unreliable person. Zi Chanya spoke. Master, how can I do this? Zi Piao almost screamed. Forget it, little girl. Master watched you grow up and taught you personally. Do you think I don't understand your thoughts? You've long fallen in love with this kid, haven't you? In all fairness, this kid is qualified. He's only at the meditative tranquility realm, but he's already cultivated the embryonic form of the great Tao. He's even stronger than the old ancestor of our Violet Emperor Immortal School. He can control the clouds and rain with one turn of the hand, and his methods are powerful. Behind him, there are countless experts. At this time, Zi Changye started to praise Zhongli. She was speaking the truth. I have to take this opportunity to confirm your status. How about it, Zhongli? If you marry our Zi Piao, the entire Violet Emperor Immortal School will be her dowry, and your betrothal gift will be the laws of the heaven-seizing Great Tao. How about it? You won't suffer a loss, right? I've already said that other than this condition, I won't agree to anyone else. But he already has a saint as his wife. His wife is called Long Yueji, a famous saint in the human world. Zi Piao argued. However, it could be seen that she also wanted to marry Zhongli. Zhongli was now a hero, and he had long been deeply imprinted in her heart, especially when he saved the sect and chased away Jun Tsangxing and the Imperial Heaven sect leader. His imposing manner had been deeply imprinted in Zi Piao's mind. So what if he has a saint as his wife? Can't you marry him? Zi Changye said, Don't think that I don't know anything. That wife of his is fake. It's just a fake marriage for the sake of gathering resources to contend against Meng Jiangnan. I'm also clear about everything that the Dream Sect has done. Since they can fake their marriage, they can also marry you for real. What's so special about it? Zhongli, what do you think? I'm asking you now, do you agree or not? If you don't, then please leave the heaven-seizing Great Tao behind. If you agree, then we'll immediately hold the wedding and invite your friends to attend. This, Zhongli felt that it was a little absurd. If this was the case, he would feel like he was a princess who got married everywhere. "We welcome you." A voice pierced through the air. Space twisted, and a white figure and a woman appeared. The man in the white figure used the Great Tao with every move. The entire Purple Emperor Immortal Sect formation couldn't stop such a person. This was a true Great Tao expert. Little Darch. The woman next to Little Darch was a saint. Long Yueji. The two of them came together. Sect leader Zi Changye. "I'm Little Darch." Little Darch stepped forward. His aura shocked Zi Changye. Zi Changye didn't dare to be impudent. His expression was a little solemn. "So, it's Senior Little Darch. I've long heard of your name. May I know why you're here?" "I'm here to decide on this marriage. The marriage between Limitless Group and Purple Emperor Immortal Sect is a great thing. I'm very willing to be the witness." Little Darch smiled. "To show my sincerity, I've decided to give Purple Emperor Immortal Sect a big gift. Celestial World Gate, open for me." Rumble. He used astral energy and sprayed out a mouthful of true chi. Instantly, the entire Purple Emperor Immortal Sect trembled. Little Thearch's power could transform a planet in an instant. The Purple Emperor Immortal Sect wasn't as big as a planet, so his power was everywhere. *1. All the elders, experts, and disciples of the Purple Emperor Immortal Sect didn't know what was happening. They only saw countless purple streams of energy flowing down from the sky. It was as if a crack had opened. Then, a gate appeared. This gate was thousands of feet tall, and it was covered in purple patterns. However, inside the gate, there was actually a green stream of energy flowing. After the purple stream of energy flowed, the green stream of energy flowed slowly like a waterfall. It scattered into the depths of the Purple Emperor Immortal Sect. Everyone who smelled the green stream of energy felt themselves sweating profusely. Impurities seeped out of their bodies and were taken away by the green stream of energy. Zi Changye was shocked. "This is the gate to the celestial world. The celestial world favors me?" The vital energy in the celestial world was usually purple energy. However, the thing that was higher than purple energy was green energy. In the ancient Tao scriptures, this was the celestial world favors, also known as favor. If the celestial world's heaven will like you, it wouldn't be purple energy, but green energy. This green energy had unexpected effects. This is a truly great gift. Our Purple Emperor Immortal Sect's strength will at least double. Zi Changye was truly grateful. This green energy can only last for 3 days. After 3 days, the gate to the celestial world will close. Little Darch sighed. "This is also the time my great Tao can last. If my cultivation can improve, I can open the gate to the celestial world for a long time and gain the favor of the celestial world. This is no small matter. If it can flow for a long time, it isn't impossible for one to become a saint immediately. Even if one can't become a saint immediately, they can enter meditative state and enter embryonic breathing realm like bamboo shoots after the rain. 3 days is enough. The celestial world's heaven will favors me. Even a tiny bit is precious." Zi Changye was very satisfied. In 3 days, the experts of our Purple Emperor Immortal Sect will definitely appear one after another. I wonder how many people will break through their bottlenecks? Good things come in pairs. Today, I think Zhang Li and Zi Piao will get married. Long Yueji, who was at the side, also laughed. "Although I'm Zhang Li's wife, it's actually just a temporary measure to unite and increase our prestige. Of course, the status has already been decided, but to us saints, this is actually nothing. Saints can no longer be measured by human etiquette. They can do whatever they want, so you don't have to be restrained." Chapter 460. Zhang Li wondered if he was lucky with the ladies now. In less than a month, he had gotten married one after another, and they were all top-notch women. First was Long Yueji, the president of the Yin Huang Corporation, a female sage. Next was the eldest senior sister of the Violet Emperor Immortal Sect, a famous figure who had hopes of becoming a sage. Marriage was a major event in one's life. In Zhang Li's view of the world, marriage and children were very distant things, because he was still young. In modern times, people could easily live more than 100 years, so getting married at 40 was not considered late. Those in the elite zone who were 200 to 300 years old married and had children at 60 to 70 years old. Jiangli was only 23 years old. At this age, he was already standing at the peak of humanity before he even graduated from school. This life was really amazing, and he had 2 wives as soon as he got married. In fact, he had feelings for both Long Yueji and Zi Piao, but not to the point of marriage. It was just an exchange of benefits. Even for the 2 childhood sweethearts, Luohan and Serene, he did not feel it to the point of being deeply engraved in his heart. As for Jiang Xinyue, although he had skin contact with her, it was not to the point of love. He realized that he had not loved her yet, because he was not a youth. If he was an ordinary youth, his heart would throb, and he would love, hate, envy, and all sorts of adolescent confusion. But he did not. He was a cultivator who had condensed the great Tao, and his spirit had comprehended infinity. Embedded in the vast void, he could sense countless dimensions. The vastness of the universe, the weight of the great Tao, and the mysteries of life and death were all deeply imprinted in the depths of his heart. Compared to these eternal things, something like love was nothing more than the chi of the 6 earthly realms. Love and desire flowed, and in the cycle of reincarnation, it could not be freed. He no longer knew what love was. However, as he felt all this, he felt as if he had lost something very important. With lanterns and banners, he got married again. The Violet Emperor Immortal sect was in a jubilant mood. All the disciples knew that the eldest senior sister of the Violet Emperor Immortal sect was going to marry the heir of the Great Emperor sect. Moreover, a great Tao sage had come to congratulate them. Congratulations, Jiang Li, you got married again. Hua Lu Dao had also arrived. Zi Changye was secretly surprised. Only now did he know that there were hidden dragons and crouching tigers behind Jiang Li. Putting everything else aside, just Little Darch alone could sweep across the world. In the entire cultivation world, apart from Tianyi, there was no one else who could contend with a great Tao saint. Apart from that, Hua Lu Dao, Long Yueji, and even Jiang Li himself were not good people. When such a force united, it was not something that any sect could contend against. Moreover, this group of people were not evil people. If they were to be divided according to the camp, they belonged to the good faction. It was not chaotic evil, nor was it neutral evil. Gradually, Zi Changye felt relieved. With the strength of Little Thearka's group, annihilating the Violet Emperor Immortal School wouldn't be a problem. Yet, they were nurturing him in such a manner. It was clear that they were truly united. After a day of celebrating, Jiang Li and Zi Piao could be considered to have officially become husband and wife. Right now, Jiang Li already had 2 wives, Long Yueji and Zi Piao. Even he found it hard to believe. Haha, we're a family now. Hua Lu Dao laughed. I didn't expect that the saints of Earth would one day unite with the saints of the cultivation world. Life is really amazing. The 2 worlds shouldn't be enemies. They should be developed together. Jiang Li was also happy. Our camp belongs to the good faction. We want to make the world a better place. We have no ambition and no evil. Now this is great. We've created an orderly world for the cultivation world and the human world. Now that the wedding is over, sect leader Zi Changye, please come to visit us. Little Darch said, the base we're building, the Limitless Group, can be said to be the new Great Emperor's sect. In the future, when the 2 sects unite, we'll need your support. I'm also very interested in taking a look. Zi Changye went over happily. At that moment, Little Darch directly opened a passage here. A huge teleportation array appeared in the Violet Emperor Immortal School. This was a 2-way teleportation channel. In the future, the people of the Limitless Group could come here, and the people of the Violet Emperor Immortal School could also go to the Limitless Group. The few of them stepped into the teleportation array and arrived at Jiang Li's base in the next moment. The huge light barrier was like a giant, covering the sky and supporting the brilliance of the day. On the ground, countless buildings rose from the ground, and countless resources were transported into the city center. Modern cities with sci-fi colors were built. On the ground, rivers, lakes, forests, parks, all kinds of weapons, defense systems, and even formations were mixed together. The energy was constantly changing and condensing into a physical form. This was the result of the three saints, the mother nest, countless human scientists, and the Zergs working together. Soon, a new small world would be built in the depths of the cultivation world. Other than that, Zichangye immediately saw the great emperor's relic in the center of the base. The perfect, true godhead, or rather, the chaos origin Tao fruit, was revolving. Within it, a figure floated up and down, and one could vaguely see Jiang Li's primordial spirit. Then, the power of the godhead enveloped the entire base, forming a huge barrier that was indestructible. Even Heaven's will couldn't penetrate it. Only then did she feel secretly alarmed. No wonder the great emperor sect was able to dominate the cultivation world back then. This great emperor's relic is already invincible, comparable to Heaven's will. Let's discuss something now. After letting Zichangye take a look, Little the Arch called for everyone to sit around the great emperor's relic. Firstly, the Royal Heaven sect actually attacked Sect Master Zichangye and attempted to destroy the Violet Emperor Immortal sect. This is a crime that cannot be punished. We must help the Violet Emperor Immortal sect to get back at them. Let's all set off now, destroy this sect, and then give the entire sect's assets to the Violet Emperor Immortal sect. What do you think? What? Zichangye stood up with a strange expression. Isn't this too fast? We're going to attack a sect immediately? Speed is precious in war. Little the Arch said, I've experienced countless years in the starry sky. Many powerful civilizations were destroyed in an instant, let alone a sect. Since they made a mistake, they have to pay the price for it. I agree as well. Since they're going to attack us, we'll just catch them off guard. Hua Liu Dao's body crackled. During these years, I didn't come to the cultivation world to fight because the heavens would pose a threat to me. However, now that my cultivation has been refined by the great emperor's relic, I can enter this seamless realm with my will. I won't pose any obstruction to the heavens' will at all, and the heavens will has also acknowledged my identity as someone from the cultivation world. This way, we can attack without any restraints. Long Yueji thought about it. However, we don't have to start a massacre. We just have to capture the leader first. We'll capture the sect master and seal him, forcing him to hand over the sect. Everything will be fine. Our original intention is peace, and this will also prevent excessive harm. That's right. I agree with this as well. If we don't do this, we'll have to kill even more people when the Royal Heaven sect attacks us in the future. Right now, we have to eliminate the disaster invisibly. Jiangli was silent for a moment. As the saying goes, the one who strikes first gains the advantage, and the one who strikes last suffers the calamity. If we strike first, we'll definitely be able to reap the benefits. Other than that, we have one more thing, and that is unity. Those sects are all scheming against each other, guarding against each other. They don't even dare to go to their sects for a gathering, fearing that they'll be plotted against. How can they compare to us, who are united? Since that's the case, let's do it. Little Emperor said. However, we still need to make some preparations. Zipiao, join our attack. Although you aren't a saint, Jiangli gave you the 72 talismans to form the great Tao of seizing heaven. Your strength won't be below that of a saint, and no saint will be able to harm you. That's fine too. Jiangli opened his mouth, and instantly, a long river appeared, turning into a jade belt. The Milky Way was dazzling. It was no longer purple, but pure silver. It was as dazzling as the Milky Way, dotted with stars. This was the great Tao of seizing heaven, the essence of the great Tao. The great Tao spun and twined around Zipiao's body, turning into clothes that were dazzling with the Milky Way. They fused tightly with her body, and in the end, her body also emitted the same aura as Jiangli's. Not bad, not bad. Zichangye was full of praises. Our Violet Emperor Immortal sect's strength has increased greatly, and the great Tao of seizing heaven has returned. However, I'm only borrowing this great Tao temporarily. My Tao isn't seizing heaven, and I'm not suited for such a domineering great Tao. I still need to condense my Tao of order. The world should be a world of order. Zipiao looked at the clothes that were dazzling with the Milky Way and could not help but smile bitterly. Don't worry, my boundless great Tao can encompass everything. I'll disintegrate this great Tao of seizing heaven, shatter it, and transform it in the end. Zhongli said, just use it for now. After I comprehend it in detail, I'll use this great Tao to help you advance to the saint level. I'll advance to the saint level myself. Zipiao smiled and nodded. Then shall we set off now and head straight for the Imperial Heaven sect? Plan before you act. We shouldn't act rashly either. Little Emperor pointed at the Great Emperor's relic. Let's observe the Imperial Heaven sect situation first and see if Jun Sangxing and the Imperial Heaven sect master have separated yet. If my guess is correct, Jun Sangxing wouldn't dare to enter the Imperial Heaven sect either, in case he gets trapped by the formation. As expected, under the activation of his magic power, the Great Emperor's relic actually merged with the cultivation world's heavenly will. It monitored the world, every corner of the cultivation world, and even the underground. A vast sect appeared in the Great Emperor's relic. It was the Imperial Heaven sect. It was extremely clear, and even the sect's formation could be seen down to the finest detail. Many data even appeared on the Great Emperor's relic, and the data of which great formation was displayed. Other than that, even the disciples who were active in the Imperial Heaven sect had life force and mental energy appear above their heads. Even their own martial arts appeared. Endless data appeared in the Great Emperor's relic. The Imperial Heaven sect no longer had any secrets from Jiang Li. Terrifying, Zichangye's entire body was trembling. How could this be? This is a little too mystical. A sect practically has no secrets from you guys. Even the data has been displayed. This is a true God's Godhead merging with our chief God's optical computer. At the same time, it's slowly merging with the cultivation world's heavenly will. This is the general trend, Little Emperor said proudly. Therefore, the final order of the two worlds is in our hands. Chapter 461. Everything about Imperial Heaven sect was clearly displayed in the Grand Emperor relic. There are no secrets at all. The vitality stats and mental energy stats of all of their sect's disciples, elders, and doyens were displayed accurately. It was as if they were playing an online game, and all of their characters' stats were displayed. This was not all. The secrets and loopholes of the Royal Heaven Gate's great formation were also analyzed. Furthermore, some of the pills and treasures that were stored in secret vaults were completely revealed to the world. Zichangye finally knew how strong Jiang Li's group was. The Grand Emperor relic was a true god divinity, while the chief god's Ai was a virtual divinity. When the two were combined, with the help of heaven's will, they could indeed see through all the secrets of calculation. The Grand Emperor relic was faster than any AI. In the past, it just hadn't been activated. Now that it was activated, the calculation, peeping, and observation abilities were revealed. Jiang Li was even able to discern that it contained the essence of numerous grand Daos, and it included future, destiny, karma, counterflow. Many great Daos could be condensed into a mixed origin Dao fruit. When a person became a saint, they would condense many divine abilities into a single Dao. After that, they would condense many Dao into a mixed origin Dao fruit and virtual divinity. Finally, virtual divinity would evolve into a true god divinity. Jiang Li's cultivation had the embryonic form of a great Dao. To condense it into a true Dao, he needed to continuously fill in the laws. He didn't have the ability to cultivate divine abilities into laws. He needed to increase his realm and become a saint before he could start to condense the true Dao. Jiang Li's cultivation had the embryonic form of a great Dao. In order to condense it into a true Dao, he needed to continuously fill in the nomological laws. However, he did not have the ability to cultivate his mystical abilities into nomological laws. He needed to increase his realm and become a saint before he could start to condense the true great Dao. As expected, in the depths of a huge, secret room, Imperial Heaven sect master sat there and breathed. However, he didn't see Jun Sangxing. After a long while, Imperial Heaven Sect Master opened his eyes and looked through the void. He muttered to himself, "Humph. Jun Songxing is also trash and has no guts. We agreed to work together, but he didn't dare to come to my sect. Even his 71 purple Emperor Divine Talismans were taken away. Jun Songxing is also trash. He doesn't have the guts. We agreed to work together, but he didn't dare to come to my sect. Even his 71 purple Emperor God Talismans were taken away. This person is also a descendant of Emperor Changsheng. I think he's worse than a dog." The Dream Sect sent me a message, asking me to attack the Great Emperor's Gate, take the Great Emperor's Relic, and kill the otherworldly demons. However, I didn't go to the Dream Sect in case I got plotted against. However, among the extraterrestrial demons, Jiang Li, that little bastard, is indeed a weirdo and a great threat. I'll just take advantage of his misfortune. As for the others, I'll let you guys fight to the death." Beep, beep, beep. While he was muttering to himself, it was clearly displayed on the Grand Emperor's relic. The Imperial Heaven Sect Master has a vitality of 550, and his spiritual energy is 500 dimensional units. The structure of the energy law in his body has 4 laws: might, sternness, austere, and overbearing. The 4 laws have a 4-phase structure and are unstable. There are many changes, all of his information, including the profound mysteries of the laws circulating in his body, were illuminated by the Great Emperor Relic. Saints had no secrets. His life force is inferior to mine. However, if I were to fight him, I would definitely be at a disadvantage. That's because of the difference in cultivation level. Jiangli observed carefully. It's impossible for me to deal with him alone. At most, I won't be killed by him. Jiang Li's current vitality was over 600, and his spiritual energy was also over 600 dimensional units. He was much stronger than the Imperial Heaven Sect Master. However, these were all rootless and were not as condensed as the other parties. A casual move from the other party could completely destroy his seemingly powerful attack. The difference in cultivation level could not make up for it. Even if the other party only used 100 vitality to perform a divine ability, he would be able to destroy his 500 vitality magical art. Thankfully, he was not the only one taking action today. It was the Little Darch, Hua Lu Dao, Zi Changya, Long Yueji, Zi Piao, and himself. With 6 experts, in addition to the Great Emperor's Relic and the True God's Godhead, it was not impossible for them to deal with the Imperial Heaven Sect Master at lightning speed. I've already deduced the loophole of the Imperial Heaven Sect's Great Formation. Then, I'll use the Great Emperor's Relic's power to open up a passageway and enter the Imperial Heaven Sect's core. Surround him and suppress him. Once we suppress him and turn him into a puppet, we can give out orders and control the entire sect. The Royal Heaven Sect's immense wealth is enough to allow the Purple Emperor Immortal Sect to transform once again. It can even be of great benefit to us. The Little Darch roared, "Come, let's all activate the divine incantations and pour power into the Great Emperor's Relic. All right, let's work together to operate the formation. Only then will we be absolutely safe. Otherwise, it'll be very easy for the saints to escape. We're performing the Great Illusion Formation. The world is a big dream, and who knows how many thousands of years have passed in the human world." The Little Darch said, "I'll combine the password of the spiritual wave frequency with you guys. All right, let's build the Great Formation together and trap the Imperial Heaven Sect Master. If it wasn't for the Great Emperor's Relic, it'd be extremely difficult to trap him. We can defeat him, but we won't be able to subdue him, much less kill him. A saint can escape at any time. Right now, we're not attacking, but catching him by surprise. He definitely doesn't have the ability to do so. All right, let's perform it together." Immediately, the 6 of them started to fuse their spiritual power together and kept on fluctuating, condensing the formation. They had to first practice so that the frequency of their spiritual waves could perfectly fuse. In the end, the 6 of them could become one and wouldn't be a pile of loose sand. Whoosh whoosh. Strong winds howled. The 6 of them meditated on the universe's brain at the same time. In the end, they developed the Great Emperor's Seal and turned it into the Eternal Dream. The Great Emperor's Seal was originally a secret that couldn't be passed down, but Zhongli didn't care. He already had his own path, a boundless great path. To him, the Great Emperor's Seal was a kind of reference. Right now, he could impart it to anyone present. After all, they were all on the same side. Moreover, to the saints, the Great Emperor's Seal itself was also a kind of reference. For example, Zhang Nailin had obtained the Longevity Supreme Scripture, but she didn't cultivate the Great Tao of Longevity. Instead, she comprehended the Great Tao of Eternal Life. After a few hours, the frequency of the spiritual waves of the 6 experts finally harmonized, forming a spiritual power that could cut a planet. The more powerful one was, the harder it was to harmonize the spiritual waves. Firstly, both sides needed to have absolute trust. Secondly, their paths and philosophies had to faintly blend with each other. Otherwise, it would be impossible for them to harmonize perfectly. They were like-minded and had a mutual understanding of each other. Right now, the 6 of them hoped that the humans on Earth and those in the cultivation world could coexist peacefully. They wanted to establish a great order and stop chaos. Gathering together with this belief and philosophy, their minds and spirits would be connected. This way, the 6 people's spiritual power and souls would condense into one and resonate. The power would be many times stronger than if the 6 of them worked together normally. Buzz, a wave of spiritual power pierced through the Great Emperor's relic just like that. Then, the Great Emperor's relic communicated with Heaven's will, and a passageway was silently opened. The passageway opened, and the shadows of the 6 people were sucked in. In the next moment, they arrived at the place where the sect leader of the Imperial Heaven sect was cultivating in seclusion. The defense of the Imperial Heaven sect's great formation was extremely tight. Even saints couldn't enter. Even Zhang Nailin couldn't enter without a sound. They had to destroy the structure outside with brute force before they could enter and capture the enemy. However, it was different for a true God's Godhead. This was the power of a god. Even if it was just a hint, it could change the entire universe without a sound. You guys, before the Imperial Heaven sect's sect leader knew what had happened, he sensed a wave of power that instantly sealed off his secret room. Then, densely packed and dreamlike incantations encompassed everything, preventing any power from seeping out. He then saw Zi Changye, the Little Arch, Jiang Li, and the others. His countenance changed. With a strange cry, his body scattered and turned into a long rainbow, wanting to leave this place and escape. However, it was useless. The long rainbow encountered a dreamlike barrier and couldn't make its way out at all. It was like a fly that had been trapped in a glass bottle. Imperial Heaven sect leader, stop running. This time around, you won't be able to escape. Zi Changye had already taken his position. Looking at the Imperial Heaven sect leader who was fleeing in all directions, a mocking smile appeared on his face. You guys, what are you guys trying to do? The Imperial Heaven sect leader returned to his original form and gathered in the center. Nothing much. It's just an eye for an eye, Zi Piao said. You plotted against our Purple Emperor Immortal sect leader, and now, we're here to take revenge. Under your leadership, the Imperial Heaven sect is truly an evil sect. Why don't we lead it? It'll definitely be filled with order and justice. Let's attack together. Don't give him a chance to catch his breath. Jiangli didn't make a move and merely activated his will. Rumble. The 6 experts had long since rehearsed this. They released their mental energies at the same time and actually manifested a form in the air. It was a majestic long river that was pure white and had towering waves. In a long river, many emperors, generals, ministers, countries, civilizations, mountains, rivers, and historical legends appeared. This seemed to be the long river of time. It had everything, and all the phenomena in the world were within it. This was the prowess of the 6 experts. Kacha, the pure white long river encompassed the Imperial Heaven sect leader. The Imperial Heaven sect leader let out a loud roar and kept on struggling, but it was to no avail. After being encompassed by the long river of the Great Tao, even if he had invincible power, it was all in vain. Although he was a saint, there were 6 great saints and a little emperor saint at the great Tao level. Moreover, their minds had melded together and were connected as one. How was he supposed to resist? He was too weak. 1,000 autumns, great dream. The little emperor chanted an incantation. The Great Dream Heart Sutra was unleashed at full power. Instantly, many butterflies appeared in the air and kept on fluttering. It was unknown whether it was humans dreaming of butterflies or the butterflies dreaming of themselves. The Imperial Heaven sect leader kept on struggling and doing his best to resist. However, his mental energy gradually weakened. How hateful! You beasts actually took the opportunity to sneak attack me. The Imperial Heaven sect leader cursed. Hateful, hateful, hateful. I don't have my blood soul gourd anymore. Otherwise, I'd risk my life to open up the Blood Realm's passageway and let countless Blood Realm demonic gods descend. They drown all of you and perish together. Chapter 462. In your hands, the 99 Blood Soul Gourd can indeed unleash great power. If you sacrifice yourself to summon the demon god of the blood world at the final moment, we will really have to hold back. Zhongli knew the power of the 99 Blood Soul Gourd. He had cultivated the limitless Great Tao All because of this gourd. He also knew that the password to the Blood Realm dimension was definitely not simple. It was a pity that he did not have a Blood Soul Gourd. Right now, the Imperial Heaven sect master could not cook without rice. Suppress. Refine the puppet. Don't kill him. We still need him to control the entire Imperial Heaven sect. There's no problem now. Everything is under our control. We subdued a saint just like that. After subduing him, our strength will increase again. It seems like unifying the 2 worlds is just around the corner. The 6 experts continued to communicate with their divine thoughts. They did not relax at all and started to circulate their mental energy to the greatest extent. The densely packed incantations condensed again and tunneled into the Imperial Heaven sect master's body, causing him to wish for death. You guys are so vicious. To think that you want to control a saint. The Imperial Heaven sect master was definitely unwilling to accept this, and he was still putting up a last-ditch struggle. His arms trembled as he said, Imperial Heaven's infinity, old ancestor, our sect's successive generations of ancestors, you can't do this. I can't let our Imperial Heaven sect's foundation fall here just like this. I definitely won't accept this. Kill. Zhongli knew that when a saint fought back, it would be very terrifying. In order to increase the speed, he did not waste any time and grabbed out with his 5 fingers. Boundless Great Tao condensed into many blood shadows, and the 99 Blood Souls Gourd appeared once again. Many blood-colored holes appeared in the Imperial Heaven sect master's body, and many Blood Realm demons started to wreak havoc in his body. Zhongli, why you're a demon? You demon, you're the most vicious person in the world. If our cultivation world falls into your hands, we definitely won't have a good ending. The Royal Heaven sect master felt a large amount of his vital energy and soul being drained away from his body. This attack was practically taking his life. His expression was extremely horrifying as he gritted his teeth. His resentment soared into the sky, and all of it was directed at Zhongli alone. I'm going to curse you. I'm going to curse you so that you'll never be able to rise again. I curse you to be separated from your lover forever. Go ahead and curse me. I don't care about curses. Zhongli's expression was calm. Tao follows the laws of nature. I am limitless, and nature includes curses. Your curse itself is also a part of my Tao. Now, you have completely become a puppet. You are tired, very, very tired. It's been so many years, and you've been struggling in the sea of bitterness. Why don't you rest for a while? Next, let us send you to the afterlife. You will completely let go of all your grudges. No. Blood flowed out of the Imperial Heaven sect master's eyes. His face cracked, and a lot of blood flowed out. It was extremely terrifying, and he had already become a blood man. I'm a saint. Saints don't die. I'll make you pay for what you've done today 1,000 times over. The Imperial Heaven sect master was still putting up a final resistance. All right, his resistance is no longer effective. I can subdue him now. Little Emperor slowly imprinted an imprint onto the Imperial Heaven sect master's forehead. The imprint that appeared on his hand was the word dream. This word dream contained all of the profoundness of the Great Dream Seal. With Little Emperor's great Tao level cultivation, as long as it was imprinted onto a saint's forehead, the saint would forever be trapped in a dream. They would not be able to differentiate between reality and illusion. They would be in a state of confusion, be controlled by others, and become a real walking corpse. Little Emperor moved. Right now, his will could penetrate the entire world, and he could even trap all the living beings on a planet into a dream. Therefore, even though the Imperial Heaven sect master's cultivation was extraordinary, he was no match for Little Emperor. He was about to be imprinted onto his forehead. This matter would then be a success. However, just then, a sudden change occurred. A gentle and slender hand appeared before the Imperial Heaven sect master without a sound. This hand seemed to be a woman's hand, but there was a man's aura on it. The moment it came into contact with Little Emperor's hand, with a flick of a finger, the slender finger shot out, and the word dream was immediately blasted into pieces. The word dream was shattered with a flick, turning into many butterflies that danced in the sky. A great Tao level expert. Little Emperor was astonished. What great Tao is this? It's not the great Tao of eternal life. You're not Jiang Nailin. Everyone, be careful. He warned, but his actions were not slow at all. He slashed out with his hand, and the great Tao of life and death turned into a pair of black and white blades that slashed out toward that slender hand. That slender hand moved slightly, and a glossy black shadow appeared in the center of her palm. This shadow seemed to be able to decide the circulation of all truths. When it clashed with the great Tao of life and death, Little Emperor's body trembled intensely, and even he took a step back. That slender hand also retracted, wanting to grab hold of the Imperial Heaven sect master and quickly enter the depths of void space. She was rescuing him. Once this great Tao-level expert rescued the Imperial Heaven sect master, then the operation this time around would be for naught. Moreover, another great Tao-level expert other than Jiang Nailin had appeared, and the situation had become complicated and confusing. If this great Tao-level expert were to join hands with Jiang Nailin, then they would be in trouble. Great Tao of Judgment. This is the great Tao of Judgment. Little Emperor came into contact with it slightly and took a step back. He immediately recognized what kind of great Tao this was. It was a great Tao with extremely strong destructive power that could shake up many truth origins. However, you're an outsider and not someone from the cultivation world. To think that you dare to enter the cultivation world and ruin our plans. Do you really think that heaven's will is just a decoration? Little Emperor's will circulated, and suddenly, a divine thought entered the void space. Immediately, the cultivation world's heaven's will in the depths of void space seemed to have sensed something. Similarly, a hand that was as white as jade grabbed out from the void space. It could be faintly seen that the owner of this hand was a youth. This was the second time that Jiang Li had seen this youth. This youth was more handsome than any other man, and his only regret was that he had no emotions at all. He was the embodiment of heaven's will. This youth's grab pierced through the void space, and he seemed to have grabbed hold of a youth. That youth was an absolute expert who possessed the great Tao of Judgment. However, he was still not a match for this youth. However, this youth did not panic in the face of danger. His body trembled, and a piece of clothing flew out, burning fiercely. Then he disappeared without a trace in the flames, as if he had left the cultivation world. The moment he left the cultivation world, the youth that was as white as jade that heaven's will had transformed into also disappeared without a trace. Meanwhile, Little Emperor had already arrived before the Imperial Heaven sect master. Another dream character appeared in his hand, and he imprinted it deeply on the sect master's forehead. The Imperial Heaven sect master's aura immediately evened out, and the birth and destruction of worlds appeared in his eyes, becoming deep and unfathomable. In reality, he had already sunk into the depths of an endless dream world. In the end, he stood up on his own, but he was not a walking corpse. Instead, he was filled with vitality, and no one could tell that he had already been controlled by someone. The people who were controlled by the Great Dream imprint were very mysterious. Outsiders would definitely not be able to tell, and even they themselves would not be able to sense it. This was because the entire world was a great dream. Who knew which person was in which person's dream? It's settled. Long Yueji let out a breath of relief. But who was that great Tao saint just now? There's actually a new change in the situation. What on earth is going on? I didn't expect that there would be outsiders spying on us. This person isn't human. Although he had subdued the Imperial Heaven sect master, his heart was very heavy. He possesses the great Tao of judgment and has immense powers. If it wasn't because we're in the cultivation world and heavens had taken action, I probably wouldn't have been able to defeat him. This person's cultivation is very strong, and we must be careful when we meet him. If he's with Jiang Nalan, we'll probably die without a burial ground. What should we do now? Zichangye felt a chill run down her spine. Although it had only been a short exchange earlier, she had already seen how powerful that great Tao Saint of Judgment was. She instantly felt that her own sect was not safe either. It was like a light in the wind that could be extinguished at any moment. I'm afraid the plan has to change, Little Emperor said. Right now, all of our powers must be united and not scattered. How about this? We'll first get the Imperial Heaven sect to issue an order to consolidate the sect's powers and join forces with your sect. I'll then do my best to create an Infinity University and send all of our elite disciples to study there. It's the same for our Infinity Group's elite disciples. Gradually, we'll be able to fuse our civilizations together. We'll discuss this matter in detail when we return. Jiang Li said, we'll open up 3 teleportation formations now and link up the Imperial Heaven sect, Purple Emperor Immortal sect, and our Infinity Group. Then, we'll start to build a base. Let's go. Everyone disappear together. Originally, after subduing the Imperial Heaven sect's sect master, they had to count the entire sect's wealth. They didn't know how much wealth the Imperial Heaven sect had, but after such a storm, no one was in the mood to take it. Moreover, although the Imperial Heaven sect had a lot of wealth, Jiang Li and the others didn't need it anymore. The Imperial Heaven sect's most precious wealth was the sect master. Just as Jiang Li was going back to discuss the countermeasures, on Earth, in the capital's university, a young man who looked like a student was sitting in the park. He suddenly opened his eyes, and there was a look of surprise on his face. It's a pity that I almost succeeded. This young man was actually a 100,000-meter-tall giant. His name was Adjudicator Jiang. But then again, Heavens was really amazing. The cultivation world's heavens can actually take form. It seems like it's not far from becoming a complete human with thoughts and emotions. I'm no match for him. The young man Adjudicator Jiang thought quietly. My scion race has been fighting everywhere, and I don't know how much energy it takes to open a plane. However, if I can get Earth and the Myriad World Sphere, it will be much better to attack other planes. I have to think about my race because I'm the prince of the scion race. Senior. Just as he was thinking, a group of girls also came here for a walk. One of them came up and chatted with him. Senior, can you take a photo for us? Sure. Adjudicator Jiang was dazed. He was a bit dumb. He hadn't lived on Earth before. He was a 100,000-meter-tall giant who led his race and kept fighting in the universe. He had never enjoyed this kind of peaceful life. Crack. He took the chip from a girl's hand and took a photo. One of the girls walked over casually. Senior, thank you. How about we go eat together? We'll treat you. This group of girls was full of youth. Obviously, the young man Adjudicator Jiang had transformed into was very handsome, and he had an indescribable temperament that attracted these girls. They were very bold and directly hooked up with a handsome guy. No problem. I'll treat you. Adjudicator Jiang suddenly felt that life on Earth was a bit interesting. Chapter 463. Dream Sect. Cultivation World. It was a huge sect with all sorts of murderous formations set up everywhere. The entire sect was even covered by heaven's will. Above the sect, a huge eyeball appeared. That was the heaven's eye. The heaven's eye constantly shot out light that spun and flowed above Dream Sect. This was heaven's will's reward for the entire sect. It rewarded the appearance of an exceptional person in the sect. Meng Jiangnan had become the leader of the demons from beyond. Therefore, the entire Dream Sect had become the #1 sect in the cultivation world. It had the power to command the world. Even when Jiang Li, Little the Arch, and the others activated the Emperor Relic, they couldn't see through some of the sect's secrets. Now, some people were gathered on the mountain peak outside the sect, seemingly discussing something. That's right, outside the sect. Dream Sect's formations were too strong. Even some saints didn't dare to enter, afraid that they would be ambushed and never return. Ancestor God Dream, what plan do you have to wipe out all the demons from beyond? Jun Songxing had actually appeared on the mountain peak again. Apart from that, there were also a few famous supremacies, such as Immortal Ascension sect leader, Transformed God sect leader, 8 Desolate sect leader, and the Emperor of Tianyuan. Once upon a time, there were 10 great divine arts in the cultivation world. They were the Curse of Parting Hatred, Blood Devil Sutra, Heavenly Emperor Technique, Fist of the Overlord, Immortal Ascension Manual, Book of God Transformation, Myriad Demon Illustration, Tao Formation Chant, 8 Desolation Secret, and Heavenly Yuan Strike. Every divine art represented a super large sect. Of course, Blood Demon Sect had already been destroyed and Blood Demon Scripture was scattered all over. However, the other sects were fine. For example, Thousand Demon Diagram. That was the ultimate technique of the monster country. Dahe and the other cats had mixed in. Now, this meeting was temporarily hosted by the Righteous Path, and the monsters weren't there. But there were many saints here as well. Jun Songxing was supposed to be in charge of this, but Ancestor God Dream beat him to it. Why isn't Emperor Heaven's sect leader here? Where's Zi Changye from Purple Emperor Immortal Sect? Ancestor God Dream looked at Jun Songxing. Dao is common people. The 2 sects you're in charge of contacting aren't here. Why? This is the best chance for us to kill the Outer Sky Demon. We can use this chance to obtain the reward from the Heaven's will and transcend the realm. Think about it. If we kill all the extraterrestrial demons, how big of a reward will we get? Don't say any more. This matter is very difficult. The Outer Sky Demon has already roped in the sect master of the Purple Emperor Immortal School, Zi Changye. That bitch. Jun Songxing said, Jiang Li, that little bastard, the one who went against your disciple Meng Jiangnan, went to the Violet Emperor Immortal Sect, and with his glib tongue, he managed to rope in the entire sect. What? Are you saying that the Violet Emperor Immortal School is actually colluding with the demons from beyond the heavens? Aren't they afraid of being exterminated? Ancestor God Dream was shocked. Taoist Ba Huang, Immortal Ascension Sect Master, God Transformation Sect Master. What do you think we should do? An old man, thin and shriveled, as if he was a corpse that had been dried for several thousand years, had a brilliant gleam flickering in his eyes. What about the Imperial Heaven Sect Master? What did he mean? I remember that his son was betrothed to the eldest disciple of the Violet Emperor Immortal School, and the 2 sects seem to be on good terms. Your information is too outdated. His disciple has already been killed by Zi Piao, and now Zi Piao is married to Jiang Li. The 2 sects are working together, Jun Songxing said. As for the Imperial Heaven Sect Master, he doesn't want to work with us. Or maybe he wants to be the fisherman that benefits from the fight. He wants to preserve his strength while we are attacking the extraterrestrial demons. This Imperial Heaven Sect Master is a wily old fox. How can we let him do as he wishes? We'll find a time to force him. And if we can't, we'll just destroy the Imperial Heaven Sect. Taoist Ba Huang was an old man that looked like a mummy, and he was filled with killing intent. Right, I've been paying attention to one thing, and that's the strongest person among the extraterrestrial demons, Jiang Nailan. The God Transformation Sect Master said coldly. This person is our greatest enemy, and we must eliminate him. I heard that your disciple, Meng Jiangnan, is very close to him. Don't let him use us as a weapon. We're fighting to the death with Jiang Li, and if he suddenly attacks us from behind, we'll all die. Jun Songxing, your clan should move out in full force to deal with Jiang Nalan, because he stole your clan's sect-guarding treasure, the supreme longevity scripture, and lied to your saintess. Putting aside the cultivation technique recorded in the supreme longevity scripture, the scripture itself is an extremely powerful Dharma treasure. It's on par with the Emperor's relic. Jiang Nalan relied on it to advance to the great Tao realm. She even killed a saint from our world of cultivation. So, killing him first is the right way to go. Another old man said, "That's why I've come to ally with you." Jun Songxing said, "Jiang Nalan must die. If he doesn't die, he can't escape justice, and there's no justice in this world." However, let's listen to sect leader Dream's opinion first. Right now, Jiang Nalan is still useful. He's working with Meng Jiangnan to seize power, and Meng Jiangnan has his full support. If we lose him, Jiang Li will soon topple Jiang Nalan. Ancestor Dream thought for a moment. We must be careful about this. First, we'll get rid of Jiang Li so that our Meng Jiangnan can take control of the Lord God's photon. Then, we'll act together to suppress Jiang Nalan. Of course, before that, Meng Jiangnan and we can borrow Jiang Nalan power to kill Jiang Li and seize control of him. We can't act first, the Bahuang spiritual master said. Taoist Bahuang said, we should have let Jiang Nalan attack Jiang Li first, and then we'll reap the benefits. That's true. How can we attack the base? Behind Jiang Li is a grand Tao cultivator identical to Jiang Nalan. Even if we go, we won't be able to take it down. We'll be helping someone else. Also, let me ask you something important. If your disciple Meng Jiangnan benefits, what benefits do we get? The transformed God sect leader wouldn't fall for it. The sects could ally, but they had to get something in return. Something in return? Jiang Li has countless treasures. Does the Grand Emperor's relic count? Ancestor Dream asked. There's only one Grand Emperor's relic. How are we going to split it? Most importantly, Jiang Nalan also covets the relic, the Bahuang spiritual master said. We attack, and he comes to reap the benefits. Haha, good plan, good plan. We won't get involved in this. Let's go. Wait. Ancestor Dream hurriedly stopped them. However, those saints had already flown up and vanished in the blink of an eye. They were like a plate of loose sand. They couldn't work together. Damn it. Ancestor Dream watched them leave, but Jun Songxing didn't. She said, Brother Songxing, it's rare for us to be of one mind. No, don't misunderstand, Jun Songxing said. I'll just wait and see how Jiang Nalan and him fight. Jiang Nalan is a sinister person. Jiang Nalan is a treacherous man. He must be trying to take advantage of us from behind. I think it's a good time now. Your dream sect is standing in front of us. Since Jiang Nalan has chosen your dream sect as his pawn, he will definitely make a move when Meng Jiangnan is in danger. At that time, we could take advantage of him from behind. You, Ancestor Dream, almost died from anger. Jiang Li, that little bastard, is united, but we're fighting on our own. How can we win against the demons from beyond? Haha, it doesn't matter what you say. We'll wait for your dream sect and Jiang Nalan to fight against Jiang Li and the great Tao saint behind him. I hope both sides suffer. Jun Songxing let out a long howl and disappeared. His body twisted and he disappeared into the vast sky. No trace of him could be found anymore. Damn it. Deep in the president's residence, Meng Jiangnan slammed the table. 3 corpse god flew into a rage. These short-sighted people only know how to do things for themselves. They don't know how to look at the big picture. When the cultivation world falls and they become prisoners, they'll regret it then. There's another piece of news. Meng Lang brought a man called 1,000 Years a Dream. His eyes shone brightly, and he looked fierce. He was clearly a strong competitor, stronger than Meng Lang and Meng Wutian. He seemed to be one of Ancestor Dream's heirs. Speak. Meng Jiangnan took a deep look at Meng Qinyan. Meng Qinyan had always been competing with him for the position of the patriarch, but now that he had become the president, Meng Jiangnan was far inferior to him. Even Meng Qinyan could only report to him respectfully. 1,000 Years of Dream's face twitched. In the sect, he and Meng Jiangnan had fought openly and secretly for many years. They were equal, but ever since Meng Jiangnan went to the world of demons from beyond, he had been at a disadvantage. Thousand Years of Dream felt that it was extremely dangerous for Meng Jiangnan to go to the world of demons from beyond, and he even gloated. But he didn't expect that Meng Jiangnan would reach his current position step by step. What? Seeing Thousand Years' hesitation, Meng Jiangnan moved. Crack, crack. A powerful aura and majesty descended. Crack. Thousand Years knelt and roared, unable to resist at all. Meng Jiangnan, what are you doing? Nothing. I just want you to know your place. Meng Qinyan, this is not the time when we were in the sect. You can't compete with my current strength. Even the leader is no match for me. I am the president of the human beings on Earth, and the human beings on Earth are the extraterrestrial demons who have defeated the entire cultivation world. My power has surpassed the entire cultivation world. So you have to understand that the person sitting in front of you is not your junior brother, but the supreme existence who controls the life and death of countless people. In front of me, you have to be humble enough, understand? Meng Jiangnan said slowly, now you can speak. Thousand Years of Dream kept prostrating, unable to raise his head. His voice trembled. We broke down with many sects, and none of them will attack Jiangli. Moreover, Jiangli has reached an agreement with the Purple Emperor Immortal School and subdued the Imperial Heaven Sect. Even the sect leader of the Imperial Heaven Sect has become his puppet. Now he is building Infinity University and taking in the elite disciples of the two sections. The construction of the base is in full swing, and its strength has increased greatly. What did you say? Is that true? In an instant, he subdued 2 sects and 2 saints? And he even integrated the resources? Meng Jiangnan was shocked. Yes, he's almost done integrating the resources, and it's very likely that he will sweep through all the sections. He will attack our dream sect first, and the other sects are watching us as a joke. The sect leader asked me to come and see if you can think of a way to prevent our dream sect from being wiped out before 3 months have passed, Thousand Years said. You should know that they joined forces and suddenly broke into the Imperial Heaven Sect. They turned the sect leader into a puppet and made him accept all the resources. Chapter 464. What? The Imperial Heaven Sect was also wiped out in an instant. How could this be? Meng Jiangnan was shocked. So the resources of the Purple Emperor Immortal School and the Imperial Sky Sect all belong to Jiangli? Then the resources are integrated and all the other sects see us fighting alone. In addition, I have to face the sneak attack of Jiangnalan. Refine me? All my plans have gone down the drain. Meng Qinyan was forced to kneel on the ground. Hearing this, he felt happy, knowing that Meng Jiangnan was besieged. Haha, Meng Jiangnan, you deserve this. It's impossible for you to become a saint. Meng Qinyan, do you think I'm isolated and besieged? Meng Jiangnan looked at Meng Qinyan, who was kneeling on the ground, and a sinister smile appeared on his face. Besieged is a phrase from the human world. It's used to describe a person who is trapped in a desperate situation. Are you trapped because of me? Is that why you're secretly happy? No. Meng Qinyan was shocked. He didn't expect that Meng Jiangnan could see what he was thinking. I've mastered the secret method of the martial world. No one can stop me now. Not even Jiangnalan. Meng Jiangnan made a grabbing gesture, and Meng Qinyan flew into the air. He looked very humiliated. Meng Qinyan, I can kill you at any time and deprive you of all your cultivation. But you're from the same sect, so I won't kill you for now. Even if you're in the cultivation world, I can still kill you with a thought. So, give up the idea and do things for me wholeheartedly. I won't do anything to you, or you'll die without a burial place. Yes. Meng Qinyan didn't dare to resist. He knew that if he dared to say no, Meng Jiangnan would tear him into pieces. Go and do things for me. Now, my task for you is to select many young talents and mix them into the Limitless group. Isn't the Limitless group migrating now? They're also selecting students from the Limitless University. We need all the students from the Limitless University. Do you understand? Meng Jiangnan assigned a task. Yes, Meng Qinyan moved and was kicked out by Meng Jiangnan. Trash. A bunch of trash with ulterior motives. Meng Jiangnan harumphed coldly. Jiangli, I didn't expect you to be so cunning. You took my life right away and ruined all my plans. I can only fight alone now. However, it is precisely this kind of pressure that can help me cultivate the martial world's password and attract the martial god to descend. At that time, I would kill Jiangli, instantly obtain the virtual godhood and the Grand Emperor's relic, devour his great Tao, and become a great Tao saint. After killing Jiang Nalan, no one would be a match for me. Everything depends on the battle in 3 months. Outside, Meng Qinyan was thrown out. His face was ferocious. Meng Jiangnan, you can't beat me. You want me to do something for you? In your dreams, I will go and rely on that Jiangli right now. Tell me all your secrets and then destroy the dream sect. Jiangli is a good person, so he will definitely give me many good things. I can also take the opportunity to sell them for a good price. Oof. What is a sect? I used to be loyal to it, but what did it give me? Plus, that Jiangli isn't an otherworldly demon. If Imperial Sky Sect and Purple Emperor Celestial Sect can rely on him, why can't I? Whoosh! His body flickered as he left the place. Star City, limitless group space. Jiangli was cultivating. Zi Piao was in front of him. Rays of silver-white, great Tao essence revolved around him. This was the heaven-stealing great Tao, formed by 72 laws. As expected, the more laws there are, the stronger the great Tao. This heaven-stealing great Tao actually merged 72 laws and formed the heaven-stealing secret technique. It's very profound. My infinite great Tao is just the embryo. I wonder how many laws it will merge in the future. Jiangli was studying the great Tao carefully. This was a rare opportunity. Great Taos were rare, and they were exclusive to the strong. A strong person wouldn't let you study their great Tao. That meant that they would be naked in front of you all day. It wasn't easy to get this heaven-stealing great Tao. The few great Tao experts who hadn't leveled up enjoyed it and benefited a lot. These laws are linked together and formed a great Tao. What a wonderful work. Zi Changye observed carefully. It's a pity that it takes a lifetime of effort to condense each law, not to mention condensing so many laws together without conflicting with each other. It's really difficult to condense a great Tao. The great Tao was formed by many laws, but they clashed with each other. It was very difficult to reconcile them. This required extremely strong life, force, and mental energy, in addition to opportunities and resources. Everyone has their own great Tao. Great Tao is found by oneself. Laws can be followed, but great Tao is untraceable. The heaven-stealing great Tao is suitable for the Purple Emperor, but not for you guys. Little Darch said calmly, my great Tao is life and death. It has a total of 49 laws, including withering, vitality, lush, greenwood, bone ashes, all kinds of laws. Anyway, the laws that contain life and death are all in it. After many tribulations and many refinements, I finally succeeded. Therefore, it isn't easy to become a great Tao expert. Like Jiangli, he isn't a true great Tao. Don't look at how he has formed a great Tao embryo now. He's just a child playing house. When he encounters a true great Tao, he'll immediately be crushed and die. That's for sure. Jiangli also admitted this point. I have to quickly level up. I hope to become a saint as soon as possible. When that time comes, I'll have the ability to condense laws. I'll be able to enrich my infinite great Tao and become a great Tao expert as soon as possible. Then I'll condense godhood. Everything has been in order these few days. The Imperial Heaven Sect and the Purple Emperor Celestial Sect are both merging. Limitless University has also started to be established and is spreading the news everywhere. I believe that it will completely surpass Starry Sky University soon. Countless people on Earth will swarm over. Our reputation has already started to surpass the authority of the government. 3 months later, we'll be establishing a brand new government. Moreover, we won't be using the network of the Chief God's AI. He should be on Earth. He isn't a human from Earth. He's from a strange civilization that came with a will to conquer Earth. Other than that, he also knows our every move. It's really terrifying. Little Emperor concluded, however, I've always been worried about one thing, and that is the great Tao cultivator who attacked that day. If we don't find him, he'll always be a hidden threat. I'm certain that he's not in the world of cultivation because he's too powerful. Heavens will find him, and he should be on Earth. He's not a human from Earth, but a strange civilization that came with the intention of conquering Earth. Other than that, he knows our every move. We entered the depths of the Imperial Heaven sect and secretly suppressed the sect leader. He actually knew about it, and he even went to save the sect leader? Zhongli said, this is indeed a huge matter. If we don't get rid of this person, he'll be a thorn in our side, especially since he has his eyes on us. What if he suddenly attacks when we're fighting Jiang Nailan? Won't we all be wiped out? Jiang Li's words sent chills down everyone's spines. 3 months later, Jiang Li and Meng Jiangnan would fight. This was a huge event. Whoever won would decide who would be the future leader of the human race. If Meng Jiangnan won, the rule of Earth would be his. If Jiang Li won, President Meng Jiangnan's prestige would plummet. Other than that, Jiang Li would announce his crimes, saying that he was a spy from the cultivation world. This way, the impeachment of the president would begin, and Meng Jiangnan would be sentenced to death. The chief god's AI would fall into Jiang Li's hands. The power of humanity would be unified, and the godhood would be in harmony with the cultivation world. The entire civilization would develop majestically and usher in a brand new era. I calculated again, Little Tharch said. This person is hiding in the 36 Hua cities, waiting for an opportunity to strike. Unfortunately, his magic power is too strong, and the essence of the great Tao is very deep. It's hard to calculate his exact location. Right now, we need to lock onto his location and find an opportunity to either suppress or seal him. Our strength isn't enough to seal a great Tao expert, Zhongli said. Unless I combine the chief god's AI with the Emperor's relic, or borrow the cultivation world's heavenly will again. We can't, and we can't act rashly. However, this person has his reservations. He won't dare to act recklessly, or he won't be able to escape even if we fight to the death. Little Tharch said, also, I know that Wang Chao's will is still inside Earth. If he dares to start a massacre, he won't be able to escape a tragic fate. Wang Chao, Zichangye said, this person seems to be very powerful. He was the first to invade our cultivation world and seemed to have triggered the heavenly will. After negotiating with it, he left calmly. Even the heavenly will couldn't do anything to him. If he doesn't die, he should be the #1 expert of humanity. Wang Chao is much stronger than Jiang Nailan, and he's even stronger than the cultivation world's heavenly will. I don't know what he's doing, but I'm sure that he's refined Earth into an artifact. Earth itself is called the celestial sphere of myriad worlds, an artifact that even the gods couldn't create. Unfortunately, after billions of years, we can no longer see its original appearance. Little Tharch said, Zhongli, I think what you need to do now is to search for that person. Maybe you can use him to break through. First, if he's an enemy, don't attack him. Try to change him from an enemy to a friend. Second, if you really can't resolve it, we can attack together and drive him out. The 36 Hua cities are so big. How am I supposed to know where he is? Although I've learned a lot about divination and predicting the future, people who are at a higher level than me can overturn the heavenly will and confuse the future. If even you can't predict where he is, how am I supposed to? For the first time, Zhongli felt like he couldn't find where to look. There were 5 to 6 billion people in the 36 Hua cities. Jiang Li's psychic energy could cover the entire Earth, but it was impossible for him to find out who the spy was. If the spy unleashed his full power, he would be able to tell. But the spy hid very well. How could he be found? I really can't predict where he is, but since he's hiding on Earth, he must have an identity. As long as he has an identity, we can definitely find some clues. You have the control of the chief god's optical computer, and with the Grand Emperor's relic, investigate the systems of the 36 Hua cities. Little Tharch said, divination is a Taoist art. It's about calculating the heavenly will. It requires inspiration and change. The investigation of the technological system requires rigorous reasoning. One is philosophy, and the other is mathematics. One is structure, and the other is execution. Combining the two, we can definitely find the spy. Chapter 465. Jiang Li was indeed eager to know the location of that great path elite. That person cultivated the great path of judgment, and he had seen it with his own eyes. It was very powerful, and he was actually able to retreat under the attack of the will of heaven. He did not leave any traces behind, and no one could catch any clues. With such a powerful existence watching him in the dark, it was like a fishbone stuck in his throat. I'll start searching immediately. Jiang Li connected to the photon computer and made a series of calculations and guesses. His body was a huge photon computer. In an instant, the newly appeared people in the 36 Hua cities were investigated strictly. They were analyzed one by one and monitored. In the depths of his mind, the activities of tens of millions of people appeared at the same time. Everyone's every move was extremely clear. Moreover, this wasn't through mental coverage, but through the photon computer chip. Powerhouses wouldn't know. This was technology, not great Tao. Most recently, the 36 Hua cities had many arrays set up by Long Yueji. The living environment was getting better day by day, and the average vitality of people was rising. Politics and economy were also greatly advanced. The cultivation world sent endless resources over, and the economy here would soon surpass the main god planet. Not only that, but Earth's economy had also improved greatly. The ancient mother planet glowed with new vitality. The humans living on dozens of planets began to envy Earth. Large-scale immigration began, all wanting to come to Earth to enjoy the benefits. Moreover, the voices attacking the government on the internet were getting louder. They said that the government wanted to improve the welfare of humans and open up the technology in the elite zone of the main god planet to increase lifespan. There was even a group of people online calling for the limitless group to replace the human government. This was the overall situation and atmosphere that Jiang Li's team had created. After the atmosphere reached its peak, he would be able to defeat Meng Jiangnan in 3 months' time and obtain the highest authority in one fell swoop. Moreover, he was now sending people everywhere to persuade the parliament and the Senate to start making Meng Jiangnan a commander without an army. In the depths of his mind, images of countless people's lives flashed. Originally, even if the photon computer had to constantly monitor these people and calculate which one was suspicious and might be a great Tao powerhouse, such a large amount of analysis would cause it to collapse. However, Jiang Li was able to do it with ease. Moreover, he seemed to get a kind of enjoyment from the calculations, a kind of cultivation. It was the feeling of heavens while being selfless and paying attention to all things. High and mighty, controlling the rules. However, he could only observe the changes in humans, while heavens could observe the entire world, every blade of grass and every tree. Even the growth of bacteria was under his control. But now, Jiang Li was far from that level. Images of the lives of more than 100 million people appeared in his mind. Everyone's lives were under his control. Even their heartbeat, breathing, emotional life, mood swings, everything was in his control. However, after some analysis, there weren't any great Tao-level powerhouses mixed in among the 100 million people. Increase the calculation. Rumble. His thoughts were connected to the Lord God's AI, and combined with the invasion of the Grand Emperor's relic, images of the daily lives of 100 million people appeared in his mind. Now that the amount of calculations had doubled, Jiang Li's soul felt as though it was unable to bear the burden. F***CK. My cultivation base is indeed not high enough. I've only managed to monitor 200 million people, and I'm already overwhelmed. Jiang Li sighed inwardly. It would seem that he was thousands of times weaker than the heaven's will of a planet. It was mainly a problem of his cultivation base. He was only at the first level of meditative oblivion. His cultivation base was too low, and it was impossible for him to bear the role of heavenly Tao, monitoring all things, unknowingly affecting the growth and karma of all things. Shoo! After calculating for about half an hour, Jiang Li's mind went black. He immediately stopped the calculation and rested for a while before recovering. Are there no clues? Little Monarch said, There's no hurry. Take your time. This is also a kind of extreme cultivation for you. You can observe the lives of hundreds of millions of people at the same time in the depths of your mind, understand their feelings, and control their every move. This is what it means to be a god. God and Tao are together. I understand. This kind of cultivation is indeed the limit. I'm simulating heaven's will and heavenly Tao. Jiangli nodded. Jiangli, someone wants to meet you in secret. It's someone from Meng Jiangnan's side. Zipiao walked in at this time. She was wearing a professional white-collar outfit and had an extraordinary temperament. She was no different from a modern woman, and she looked like a big manager of a company. Not long ago, she was the eldest senior sister of the cultivation world's Purple Emperor Immortal sect. Who's the person from Meng Jiangnan's side? Jiangli stood up. Dream Millennium. Zipiao said, I know this person. He fought with Meng Jiangnan for the position of sect leader, but Meng Jiangnan won and became his slave. He's very dissatisfied. Oh, if that's the case, I don't mind meeting him. Even if it's Meng Jiangnan's plot, I can deal with it. Jiangli asked, Where is he? He's already at Suhua City. All right, let's go together. Jiangli and Zipiao's bodies moved, and they passed through the two cities. Suhua City wasn't far from Xinghua City, and with their current speed, they arrived in the blink of an eye. Suhua City's black market was now a huge research base. It became the Limitless Group's technological industrial park. There were also all kinds of resources brought from the cultivation world, which were continuously broken down and made into medicine, weapons, warships, and all kinds of civilian goods. In this way, human resources were greatly enriched. Dream Millennium was at the heart of this technological industrial park. From his point of view, the development here was really shocking. The space-folding technology researched on the main god planet was perfectly applied here. Large machines that looked like crystals were wriggling. They were the Zerg's space-time worms. These space-time worms could create distorted space-time force fields, which were very stable. It was a technological method, not a cultivation technique. In this city, he couldn't walk around at will because the slightest discomfort would cause him to walk into a space-time turbulence, and he couldn't come out. Many scientists were working here. In addition, there were many large arrays that communicated with many dimensions, pouring energy into this city, making it surpass the main god planet. If this goes on, the entire Earth will be managed by the Limitless Group to become even stronger than the main god planet. Soon, it will become the political, economic, and cultural center. Who is this Jiangli? I haven't seen him with my own eyes. Can he really beat Meng Jiangnan? Dream Millennium suddenly felt a bit uneasy. Dream Millennium, what do you want? A voice sounded. Jiang Li and Zipiao appeared at the same time. Zipiao, I can't believe you've also joined the Limitless Group, or the Great Emperor sect, to work with the demons from outer space. Dream Millennium knew Zipiao. He was an outstanding disciple of the Dream sect, which also had connections with the Purple Emperor sect. It's normal. The Limitless Group is a combination of the Great Emperor sect and the humans on Earth. The world of cultivation doesn't need wars or ambitious people. Tell me, what are you here for? This is Jiangli. You can totally trust the Limitless Group. As long as you work for us sincerely, we won't do anything stupid, Zipiao said calmly. I'm here. Talk to me. Jiangli sat down and asked Dream Millennium to sit down as well. I'm here to tell you a big secret about Meng Jiangnan. I want to know, how many resources are you willing to pay for this big secret? Dream Millennium calmed down a bit. I'm sorry. The big secret you're talking about is that Meng Jiangnan is from the Dream sect? We've known about this since before he became the president. Jiangli laughed. He thought Dream Millennium was a fool. Did he really think that Meng Jiangnan's secret could be hidden from many people? No, you're just guessing. I can get evidence from the depths of the Dream sect, Dream Millennium said. Evidence? Jiangli waved his hand. Evidence? The Limitless Group is preparing a big plan. Look at this base. The insectoid army is ready. We're going to destroy the dream sect and get rid of its foundation. By then, we'll capture your teacher, the leader of the dream sect, ancestor god Dream. What secret can we get? What? You want to destroy the dream sect? Dream Millennium was shocked. His face turned pale. That's right. We have a great Tao expert, Purple Long Night, and the Saint of Six Paths. We've turned the Emperor Sky Sect leader into a puppet, and we have Saint Long Yueji. Right now, the two of us have the power to defeat a saint. Do you think it'll be easy to destroy the Dream Sect with this power and the Emperor's relic? Zhongli pressured Dream Millennium step by step. But we're working with Jiang Nailin, Dream Millennium said. He's also a great Tao expert. Zhongli laughed out loud. Jiang Nailin has always wanted to devour the Dream Sect. He is just using you. I think you know this very well. Actually, what I want to tell you is that Meng Jiangnan's biggest enemy is not me, because he can reconcile with me anytime he wants. I won't touch his position as president. It's not that I don't have tolerance. For example, the Purple Emperor Immortal School is working with me. Isn't it great now? I haven't touched anyone from the Emperor Sky Sect. Jiang Nailin, on the other hand, is ruthless. You should know that Meng Jiangnan is mainly guarding against Jiang Nailin. I can say that if I attack the Dream Sect, Jiang Nailin won't help at all. He'll only take advantage of the situation. Without the Dream Sect support, Meng Jiangnan will be under his control. It's even possible that Jiang Nailin will destroy the Dream Sect and use its resources to strengthen his Jiang clan. As Zhongli spoke, Dream Millennium's face became paler. Everything he said was reasonable, and it was what Meng Qinyan was worried about. In fact, the Dream Sect was most afraid of Jiang Nailin. The Dream Sect is already in danger. As the saying goes, a fine bird chooses a good tree to nest in. Our limitless group is the #1 power in the cultivation world and the humans on Earth. You working with Jiang Nailin is like asking a tiger for its skin. Work with us and treat each other with sincerity. Why do you have to do this? You're right, Zi Piao. Jiang Li kept attacking. Meng Qinyan, I hope you can talk to your master or Meng Jiangnan. Don't be influenced by Jiang Nailin. What do you think? Otherwise, you'll die without a grave. Meng Qinyan thought and lowered his head. What should I do now? Meng Jiangnan is too confident. I won't tell him, or he'll kill me. Then go talk to Ancestor God Dream, Zhongli said. If possible, I hope to talk to him alone. What do you think? This is a matter of life and death for the sect. As he spoke, Zhongli waved his hand and a letter was written. Send a letter? I can do that. Meng Qinyan rolled his eyes. But you have to postpone the attack on the Dream Sect. Of course, Zhongli said. I'm not here to kill. The Limitless group is peaceful. Look at our Tao. It's orderly and step by step. We change the world step by step. Do you really think we're the kind of evil that would destroy a sect? Chapter 466. Zhongli was destroying Meng Jiangnan's power step by step. Meng Jiangnan had a few things to rely on. First, the Dream Sect was supporting him, sending him talents and resources at all times. Otherwise, no matter how powerful he was, he wouldn't be able to become the president. A president would definitely have a huge team behind him to create influence for him. The second point was that Jiang Nailin and the Jiang family still had some hidden forces behind them to add fuel to the fire. Jiang Li's first step was to destroy the Dream Sect's alliance with many other sections. This put the Dream Sect in a passive position. Now, he had Meng Qinyan send a message to meet the Dream Ancestor God to discuss peace and get rid of Jiang Nailin. Jiang Li was setting up a trap to make Meng Jiangnan and Jiang Nailin fall into an awkward situation where a just cause enjoys abundant support and an unjust cause finds little support. Actually, it would be the same without Meng Qinyan. He would also go to the Dream Ancestor God. After dealing with the Grand Tao powerhouse, he would launch an attack and destroy the Dream Sect. First, he would destroy Meng Jiangnan's foundation. Second, he would lure the snake out of its hole. Meng Jiangnan wouldn't just watch the Dream Sect be destroyed. If he tried to stop him, he would show his weakness and be killed by Jiang Li. Of course, letting Meng Qinyan send the message first was also a good idea. I'll do it, but Meng Qinyan seemed to have made up his mind. I've decided to join the Limitless group. I hope you can protect me. I'm willing to abandon the Dream Sect. Right now, I can feel that the heavenly Tao is changing. A great catastrophe is coming. Jiang Nalan is evil and won't give us any chances. The Dream Sect is in danger, and I need to survive it. If you can think like this, it means that you've already survived the catastrophe. Zi Piao smiled. Zi Piao smiled. I know how strong you are. How about this? As long as you sincerely pledge your allegiance to us and complete the task of passing the message to the Dream Sect, I will discuss with the board of directors and give you a position in the Limitless group. You will be in charge of a large department, and you can gather your peers to form a department. You will gradually gain authority in the group. I guarantee that we will provide you with resources for your department, and your authority will definitely exceed Meng Jiangnan's. In fact, it is not impossible for Meng Jiangnan to work under you in the future. Really? Meng Qinyan was dubious. Well, have we ever lied? Zhang Li asked. That's true. I'll send the letter back to the Dream Sect right away. Qinyan was about to leave. There's no need for that. I'll send you off. It's much faster and more convenient to enter the cultivation world through my passageway. Moreover, my great emperor's relic has already started to communicate with heaven's will. With a single thought, I can teleport you to any place in the cultivation world. I can even teleport you to your sect. Now you know how powerful we are, right? Zhangli was still displaying his might in front of Meng Qinyan. This is how we control the Royal Heaven sect. We will directly descend upon their secret chamber and seal their sect leader. The entire sect will become ours. Unfortunately, your system is not up to par with us humans on Earth. Just like us humans on Earth, even if the president is usurped, it doesn't matter. We still have to follow our rules. As he spoke, Zhangli waved his sleeves. Meng Qinyan instantly felt a gust of wind. He felt dizzy and didn't know where he was. After a long time, the wind suddenly stopped. He opened his eyes and saw the familiar mountains and rivers of the cultivation world, the huge Dream Sect, and the third eye that had appeared as a reward from heaven's will. I knew it. Meng Qinyan was terrified. With a wave of his hand, Zhangli teleported him from Earth to the cultivation world. It was unbelievable. Moreover, he felt that he couldn't resist Zhangli at all. Zhangli ordered him around as if he was playing with an ant. His entire body shivered as he hurriedly entered the sect. Meanwhile, Ancestor God Dream was cultivating and thinking in the depths of the sect, in the depths of the secret chamber. Ancestor God Dream summoned Meng Qinyan. Meng Qinyan took out the letter. What? You want to see Jiang Li without permission and want to join the Limitless group? Are you a traitor? Ancestor God Dream was furious. A huge force pressed Meng Qinyan to the ground like a toad, as if he was going to sink deep into the ground. Master, Jiang Li wants to attack us and destroy the Dream Sect. But Meng Jiangnan is so arrogant that he doesn't even respect you. He said that the Dream Sect is his and want me to be his slave and do things for him wholeheartedly. I'm just pretending. Meng Qinyan quickly explained. Plus, the Limitless group has many experts. The Imperial Heaven Sect was destroyed by them in just one day. He can teleport me to any place in the cultivation world. If he attacks us, will Jiang Nalan protect the sect? Or will Meng Jiangnan come to our rescue? They won't let Jiang Li get hold of us. Master, we have to think about the sect and can't fall deeper. Also, Jun Songsheng and the other sects are all laughing at us. They want us to be destroyed. We pushed Meng Jiangnan to the position of the great president and got the favor of the heaven's will. He is already a thorn in the eyes of many sections. If Meng Jiangnan got some benefits and sent them to our sects, it would be fine. But now, we have to send the resources of our sects out and fully support him to build the world of the demons from beyond the heavens. We are transfusing blood. We can't keep sending them out. Many of the brothers in the sect are already complaining. We can't make ends meet, Master. Meng Qinyan cowed out. This matter. Ancestor God Dream looked at Jiang Li's letter and slowly opened it. It turned into Jiang Li himself. Sect Lord Dream, Jiang Li said with a smile, your apprentice, Meng Qinyan, has a point. This way, we can preserve the bloodline of the sect and prevent it from sinking too deeply. It was a stream of divine will like that of a sage. Jiangli, what do you want? Do you really want to destroy Dream Sect? If so, Dream Sect will fight you to the end, Ancestor God Dream said angrily. Fight to the end? Let me ask you, if you fight with Violet Emperor Immortal School, both sides will suffer. Add Emperor Heaven Sect, and you'll be at a complete disadvantage. Add the experts behind me. Do you still have a chance of winning? I won't say much. I hope we can work together to deal with Jiang Nalan first. Kill Jiang Nalan. Then the world will truly be at peace. Jiang Li. As for you, Ancestor God Dream, my Grand Emperor Relic is a true God's Godhead. If I combine it with the Chief Gods, I can use half of its power. I'll lend it to you to study. You might even be able to become a Grand Dao expert. By the way, you should know that I have obtained the Grand Dao of seizing the heavens and returned it to the Violet Emperor Immortal Sect. In a few days, Sect Leader Violet Long Night might be able to become a Grand Dao expert. At that time, the Dream Sect and Jiang Nalan might not be able to bargain anymore. Are you threatening me? Ancestor God Dream was shocked. She knew about the Great Dao of seizing heaven and the Violet Emperor Divine Talisman. Once the Violet Emperor Immortal School obtained the Great Dao of seizing heaven, they would be unstoppable. I'm not threatening you. I'm giving you a way out. War or peace? War? I won't say a word and we'll attack immediately. Let's see if Jiang Nalan and Meng Jiangnan will come to save us. Peace. We can discuss cooperation now. You can send your elite disciples to work with Limitless Group and learn together. Meng Qianyan will be the contact person. At the same time, stop sending blood to Meng Jiangnan and move everyone in the sect. Otherwise, they won't be able to keep their lives in the future. Jiang Li raised many conditions. Every one of them was acceptable. He was eating away at Meng Jiannan's foundation step by step. I'll have to think about this carefully. But Meng Qianyan, you can send some elite disciples to study at Limitless University. Do you understand? Ancestor God Dream was thinking. Fine, I'll give you 3 days. If you don't reply within 3 days, then I'll attack because there's no time to lose. I can't drag things out. Jiang Li's body exploded, disappearing without a trace, merging into the void. Meng Jiangnan. Oh, Meng Jiangnan, I thought that after you became the president, all the extraterrestrial demons would be ours. But in the end, you still needed to donate blood to your sect, and your prestige fell to the ground. You were forced to the edge of the cliff by Jiang Li. Now that Jiang Li is so powerful, how can you fight against him? If the saints behind him join forces, they can crush you to death regardless of the rules. Ancestor God Dream sighed after a long time. I can't let the sect die with you. If necessary, I can sacrifice you. Starlight City. Jiang Li was calculating again. He had set up Meng Qianyan as a chess piece, but that was a small matter. The big problem was still that Great Dao cultivator. However, despite his incessant calculations, he still couldn't find any clues. Jiang Li, the first list has appeared. We've selected new students from all over the world to go to the cultivation base and study at Limitless University. These are all young talents. Let them merge with the Emperor Heaven Sect and the Purple Emperor Immortal School. The integration of civilizations needs a process, and we're doing it now. Luohan and Serene walked in, holding an e-book in their hands. The e-book was made of biological crystal cells, not data or energy. Obviously, only important documents would be like this. Oh, let me see how many people there are. What's their information? Jiang Li took the e-book and flipped through it. There were all kinds of people, mostly young talents and fresh graduates. Now, Starlight University was also recruiting students from all over the world, but it was much weaker. Many people didn't just want to get into Starlight University. They all wanted to get into Limitless University. Limitless University was promoting it all over the world, and they had the support of saints. To be honest, Limitless University completely surpassed Starlight University in both software and hardware. Starlight University was just an ancient imperial examination, while Limitless University directly created a huge dynasty. You could become an official as soon as you entered. Limitless University should be compared to the elite area, the Divine Planet. Moreover, The elite area was gradually falling behind. No group had as many saints as Limitless Group. Zhongli looked through the information one by one. Suddenly, a name fell into his eyes. Adjudicator Jiang? He immediately opened the information of this name. It was a young man studying at Tsinghua University. This young man had a straight figure, and his smile was full of youth. At first glance, it was obvious that he was a hot-blooded, inexperienced, ambitious, and progressive young man. There wasn't any flaw in this. But when Zhongli looked at some photos of this young man again, he found that his every move was the same. Hot-blooded, inexperienced, ambitious, and somewhat immature. There's something wrong with this person, Zhongli said. What's the problem? Luohan was also looking through the information, but she couldn't find any clues. His personality is too good. There's no change at all. It's like a fixed program. Everything and every action is the same. According to human nature, even the most childish person has a mature side. But he doesn't. Zhongli said, "Check this person? No, I'll go and see for myself." He stood up. Chapter 467. In Tsinghua University, a group of girls was surrounding a young man who was about 18 or 19 years old with a perfect figure. It was Judge Jiang. Obviously, he was very popular among the girls. He was surrounded by them like stars surrounding the moon, and he was also enjoying it, laughing. Wow, Senior Judge, you actually got a place in Infinity University this time. It's very rare, and you have to pass many tests. It's even more difficult than the exam of Star University. A girl said enviously, "Soon, you will go to that cultivation world for training. Besides, I heard that this is the first time that Infinity University enrolls students, and there will be a big test at the entrance. The first place of the test can get the enlightenment of a saint. That's a saint. Senior, you have to train us. Do we still have a chance in Infinity University? Can you give us some advice on cultivation? I want to go there next time." Many girls were chattering. Some girls were pure, some were beautiful, some were sexy, and some were mature. They all surrounded Judge Jiang. He had an attractive charm and temperament. No problem. Even if I'm admitted to Infinity University, I will continue to contact you." Facing so many girls, Judge Jiang didn't neglect any of them. At night, the university quieted down. After dealing with those girls, Judge Jiang quietly came to the center of the campus, the ancient palace tourist attraction. His body flashed, and he stood under the bright horizontal board of the palace of heavenly purity. With his feet on the ground, he seemed to be sensing something. Yes, this is the channel of the dragon dimension. The earth is indeed a celestial sphere, and we can communicate with any dimension. After finding the password of this dimension, I will open it directly. First, humans on the earth will bring a disaster, and then I could take advantage of it and make all kinds of plans. Obtaining the divine spark of a true god and the virtual divine spark are very attractive to me. Judge Jiang laughed. While speaking, he clenched his 5 fingers. A stream of air and runes of the law danced, turning into many musical notes. They gathered on the ground and didn't disperse, forming a large magic circle to communicate with a mysterious dimension. He had created a great passage. "Mr. Judge, wait a minute." A voice came. "Who is it?" Judge Jiang was shocked. He suddenly turned around, and the magic circle disappeared into the void. Then, he saw a man appear at the door. He was also a young man, about 23 years old, 9 meters tall, wearing a classical, modern, and sci-fi outfit. Upon closer inspection, the clothes seemed to be draped over his body from the infinite void, or rather, it was a part of the void. At first glance, he knew the clothes were formed of the Great Path. Infinite Path. The young man in front of him was Jiangli. Jiangli found Juri Jiang. It was like looking for a needle in a haystack. After observing for a whole day, he finally found some clues about Juri Jiang. Now, he was even more sure that the adjudicator Jiang in front of him was the great Tao overlord who had appeared in the depths of the Royal Heaven sect. This was because the magic array he had just cast actually had the secret to opening the dragon dimensional passage. "Nice to meet you, Mr. Adjudicator. I didn't expect that you, a powerhouse at the Great Path realm, would actually sneak into Earth. I wonder if there's anything you need me to do for you? I can definitely do it." I respect powerhouses, and our Earth civilization is very friendly. As long as you say the word, I'll give it to you with both hands. Why do you have to resort to such petty tricks? Jiangli was very polite. He didn't want to have a conflict with the person in front of him. I didn't expect that I would be exposed. Judge Jiang smiled. He looked very natural and didn't look nervous at all. If you didn't use the Great Path of Judgment and change your name to Jiang Chaplains, I wouldn't be able to find out. Great Path of Judgment, Jiang Chaplains, this name makes me think of something. Jiangli sighed. I don't know where you are from, but we don't seem to have any hatred. Looks like I was careless. Adjudicator Jiang said, I shouldn't have gone to the cultivation world to save the Royal Heaven sect master. In the end, you guys caught hold of the clues and found me. But to say that there's no hatred between us is a big mistake. You killed so many of my people and even my generals. Of course, I have to find you. I killed your generals? Jiangli frowned. Sire Rudolph. Judge Jiang smiled. You. Jiangli was shocked. An image flashed in his head. It was of countless giants setting up a huge altar in the depths of space. A 100,000-meter tall giant was commanding billions of giants to invade the depths of space. You're the leader of the Scion Giants, the 100,000-meter tall giant. How did you become like this? You can shrink to the size of an ordinary person. I remember that the bigger the giant, the harder it is to shrink. The Great Path of Judgment is so mysterious, Judge Jiang said. Adjudicator Jiang said, My real name isn't Adjudicator Jiang. It's Saya Adjudicator. I'm the prince of the Scion Giants. Since our race was born, we only knew how to fight and invade. We didn't build our own civilization. We didn't have a social life. War, killing, plundering, and devouring are our entire lives. I led the army to devour one world after another in search of energy that could support our race. There were billions of people in my race, and the amount of energy needed to cultivate, consume, and reproduce every day is incalculable. Your race really has it tough, but you're huge and need a lot. There's nothing you can do about it. Zhongli expressed his sympathy. But Mr. Adjudicator, did you come to Earth to plunder? Why didn't you kill? You have a great Tao expert behind you. He's about the same as me. I respect experts, Saya Adjudicator said. Also, other than that, a small civilization like Earth actually has hidden experts. My general, Saya Rudolph, actually died here. As for Rudolph's death, I express my regret. But there will always be casualties when two armies fight. I hope you can understand. Zhongli expressed his sincerity, but he was secretly on guard. This person is actually that 100,000-meter tall giant. He's too terrifying. Luckily, he didn't show his might. Otherwise, Earth civilization would suffer heavy casualties. He had to be even more careful and didn't dare to act rashly. Moreover, he was afraid that the other party would suddenly attack and suppress him. I want your true Godhead and virtual Godhead, as well as the control of the entire Earth. Saya, Adjudicator said, these are all things my race needs. You killed my general. Aren't you going to compensate me at all? Asking for a sky-high price and returning it on the spot. This could be discussed. Zhongli wasn't angry. We're all living in the universe. We live in peace and don't kill. Doing business and exchanging with each other is the best. Isn't plundering the goose that lays the golden eggs? How are you going to compensate me? Saya Adjudicator was unmoved. If my guess is correct, the Scion race has a lot of people. You're just leading a tribe, which isn't very large in the Scion race. You need to multiply your people and tribe, accumulate strength, and hope to surpass the other tribes, right? You're just a leader in your tribe. I remember that there are many Scion tribes, and they fight each other. You have many enemies. The Titan Giants are also your enemies. The Skyquaking Giants are also your nemesis. The Mara Giants are irreconcilable enemies. Your tribe is also under great pressure to survive. Why do you still want to be enemies with us? Besides, you have billions of giants. Even if you empty out all the humans on Earth, you won't be able to survive for long. Why focus your resources on the tiny Earth? Although I'm far weaker than you, I have great potential. In addition, we also have a great Tao expert. If we cooperate, want to be a great prophet? I can even help you eliminate your opponents and form an alliance. One more friend is better than one more enemy, Zhongli said patiently. Is that so? Or are you just making empty promises? The Scion adjudicator's gaze suddenly turned fierce. Since he had been discovered, he would no longer hide it. So I'll just lose a general for nothing? How about this? If you need my help, for example, if your race is fighting with another race and you want to kill the enemy's saint, I can step in and kill the saint you want to kill. How about that? You're a general, and we'll accompany you with a saint. How about that? This kind of business isn't a loss, right? Zhongli flicked his fingers. He was very confident in the negotiation and was very familiar with it. I need compensation that can be cashed in immediately. Otherwise, there are two things you can't afford. The Scion adjudicator was not a kind person, nor was he a fool. First, if I start a massacre on Earth, you won't be able to bear the losses. Second, I know you have an opponent among the humans on Earth. He's a great Tao expert called Jiang Nalan, and he has a profound cultivation. What if I cooperate with him? I'm afraid you'll die a horrible death. He thought that he had seized Jiang Li's lifeline and was very pleased with himself. But Jiang Li didn't look frightened at all. You don't have to pretend. The 2 points I mentioned are your fatal weaknesses. The Scion adjudicator's gaze was sharp, as if he wanted to see through all the secrets in Jiang Li's heart. No, these 2 points will only bring you death. They won't affect me at all. Jiang Li analyzed. First, you have lived on Earth for so long, so you should know Earth's system. If you dare to wantonly slaughter, then the public will be stirred up and the entire human race will kill you. Me and Jiang Nalan will have to take action. Even some ancient experts, such as Wang Chao and his companions, will come out. You think you can escape? As for your second point, working with Jiang Nalan is like asking a tiger for its skin. He'll eat you up sooner or later. Even if you work with him, you won't be able to do anything to me. 2 great Tao experts can break through the defense of my true Godhead. Is this a joke? Are you looking down on the power of a god? At most, it'll be balanced. But if you work with me, it'll be completely different. We can destroy Jiang Nalan as easily as crushing dry weeds. Then we can refine him into a puppet. When we work together, won't your race be thousands of times stronger? How do I know if what you're saying is true? The Scion adjudicator felt that what Jiang Li said made sense. But how could he admit it? If I work with you, you won't plot against me. You're a wise man. Can't you tell? You've lived on Earth for a while. Don't you know Jiang Nalan's character and mine? Jiang Li didn't care. I still have to go see Jiang Nalan. I'll work with whoever offers the highest price. The Scion adjudicator's body flickered, and suddenly he disappeared without a trace. Of course, he wouldn't be tricked by Jiang Li. Chapter 468. I've finally gotten rid of a huge burden on my mind. Jiang Li looked at Saya's departing figure and felt as if a huge stone had been lifted from his heart. Saya's judgment went to find Jiang Nalan. If he worked with Jiang Nalan, that would be a huge problem. But it didn't matter. It was good to know who the enemy was. Plus, he believed in Saya's judgment. It wouldn't work with Jiang Nalan. Even if it was temporary, it would be a fight and would restrict each other. Therefore, he could boldly take drastic measures and take Dream Sect into his own pocket. He could either destroy it or work with it and abandon Meng Jiangnan. He moved and returned to his base. At this moment, in the depths of the endless universe, on a planet in the Milky Way, this planet was full of life. There were birds and beasts everywhere, but there wasn't any intelligent life like humans on Earth. There were only some aboriginals. Jiang Nalan sat on the ground and sent out circles of talismans that expanded the entire planet. These talismans couldn't be seen with the naked eye, but people could see them clearly with their mental power. He was setting up a formation to refine the planet's heaven's will. Although the planet's will was vast, it wasn't as strong as the Emperor's star. Jiang Nalan wanted to refine it and fuse it into his own Tao. When his Tao was complete, he would cultivate another Tao and turn it into godhood. My grand Tao of eternal life is more or less complete. Next, I need to form another grand Tao. That godhood, or primordial Tao fruit, is formed from multiple grand Taos. But even the weakest godhood requires 3 grand Taos. Even among great Tao experts, there's a difference in strength. If an expert cultivates 2 great Tao, he can completely crush several experts who only cultivate 1 great Tao. Jiang Nalan murmured. That little emperor's Tao is the life and death Tao, which is about the same as mine. But the Tao I'm going to cultivate is called judgment. Once he mastered it, he would be able to control eternal life and hold judgment in his hand, and he would be able to suppress little the arch. To be honest, although the great Tao of eternal life was mysterious, it was only useful for increasing one's lifespan. Attacking power was not his forte. As for the great Tao of judgment, it was purely offensive. Once he mastered it, who would be able to compete with him? However, cultivating a great Tao required extremely dense mental energy and various nomological laws. Refining a planet's heavens would not allow one to cultivate a great Tao. However, that kid, Jiang Li's embryonic great Tao, was a little tricky. His great Tao seems to have endless transformations. It can both defend and attack, and it can even extend one's lifespan. It seems to have a complete set of functions. One Tao can contain 10,000 Taos. Jiang Nalan was quite envious of Jiang Li's infinite great Tao. I'll find a chance to kill this kid, refine him, and take his great Tao for my use. Once I've mastered the great Tao of judgment, it shouldn't be a problem for me to sweep the world of cultivators and humans alike. He grabbed. Suddenly, all the plants on the planet withered at a speed visible to the naked eye. The planet trembled. The heavens will and Jiang Nalan were in an intense struggle. Refining the heavens, isn't something that can be done in a day. Even with my cultivation, it will take at least a few years, and at most a few decades. However, I have enough patience. Jiang Nalan sat down and used his mental energy to seep in and start the refinement. Blazing flames flew from the sky and landed on the planet. The entire planet immediately turned into a sea of fire. The land was scorched, the oceans evaporated, and all living things were wiped out. In the blink of an eye, he had actually massacred an entire planet. He didn't care about this kind of slaughter at all. A great Tao expert could already balance yin and yang. Karma wouldn't touch them. However, just as the planet turned into a sea of fire, a wave of clear light shot down from the sky and entered the interior of the planet. Instantly, the entire sea of fire was extinguished, and then the trees were reborn. Even wild animals began to appear again. The entire planet's evolution accelerated. Who? Jiang Nalan stood up and looked into the void. A young man walked over slowly and broke through all of Jiang Nalan's restrictions with a single step. He arrived in front of him and stood face to face with less than 10 steps between them. A great Tao expert? You're a giant? A saint among the Scion giants? Jiang Nalan put his hands behind his back, and a profound light appeared in his eyes. The young man was surprised. He was the Scion's judgment. I didn't expect Jiang Nalan to live up to his reputation. Countless people couldn't see through my true form, but you actually saw through it with a single glance. You're over 100,000 meters tall, and a huge amount of energy has been compressed into a body that's less than 2 meters tall. It definitely can't contain it, so you store the energy in the depths of a secret space. As for my eyes, there's no space that can hide from me. Jiang Nalan said proudly, some time ago, the humans of Earth were attacked by giants, and Jiang Li even killed a general of the Scion giants. Are you here for revenge, or do you want to contact me to kill Jiang Li together? No. The Scion's judgment laughed loudly. I just looked for Jiang Li, and I know that among the humans of Earth, the 2 biggest forces are the 2 of you. As the saying goes, when 2 tigers fight, one will definitely be injured. You're now in a period of balance, and I'm the one who broke the balance. Whoever joined them would have the upper hand and eliminate the other party. I'm here to talk about conditions. How about it? Conditions? Jiang Nalan frowned. Jiang Li killed your general, and you're not even going to take revenge. Benefits come first. Jiang Li promised me, and the great Tao expert behind him, to use the power of the Godhead to kill my enemies and some saints. I think this suggestion is not bad, but I'm still not satisfied. The Scion's judgment said, how about it? Will you consider it and give me more? Don't talk about empty promises. I don't like things like killing Jiang Li and getting virtual godheads, true godheads, and the like. I like the benefits that I can get now. So you want to sell it for a good price. That's fine. How could Jiang Nailan not understand? What do you want? Name your conditions, and as long as I can do it, I'll do my best to satisfy you. Actually, killing Jiang Li will give you unlimited benefits. Good? Straightforward. The Scion's judgment was very pleased. I want a great Tao. I see that you want to refine the will of the entire planet. You're doing it alone, and it's very slow. I see that you've been planning for a long time, and this planet is already under your control. It's impossible for the planet's will to dissipate. Why don't you get it to me? I'll do it, and you can help me refine the planet's will and bring it into my body. What are you talking about? Killing intent flashed in Jiang Nailan's eyes. In order to plan this planet, I sealed the void 10 years ago and slowly infiltrated it. It wasn't easy to form the situation today, and I've already trapped the planet's will inside. It can't escape, and you actually want to take it away? Reap the benefits? Are you sure you're not dreaming? You're not even willing to make such a small sacrifice. The Scion's judgment sneered. Then I've misjudged you. You're someone who does great things. Sacrifice something small to win my favor and help me do a series of things. Then, I can join forces with you to deal with your greatest enemy, Jiang Li. As you said, killing Jiang Li won't give you anything. Obtaining the planets, well, isn't enough. You still want me to do a series of things for you? Jiang Nailan said. Moreover, I don't trust you. You obtained the planet's will, and your cultivation has increased greatly. What if you go back on your word and go against me? That's simple. How about we both make a primal chaos oath? The higher one's cultivation, the more effective the primal chaos oath is. Especially for saints like us, there's almost no possibility of going back on our oaths. The Scion's judgment pointed to a place in the sky that didn't exist, as if that was the primal chaos. Tell me, how do I make the oath? Jiang Nailan asked. It's very simple. You just have to swear that from now on, you will work together with me. You're not allowed to plot against me. You have to wholeheartedly help me condense my second Grand Tao. Once my second Grand Tao is condensed, I will help you kill Jiang Li. We will form an alliance, and we will not plot against each other. You're saying that after I help you condense the second Great Tao, you'll help me deal with Jiang Li? Jiang Nailan seemed to think that she had encountered the funniest thing in the world. You condense the second Great Tao, and suppressing anyone is as easy as flipping your hand. Do you still need to work with me? So you're not willing? Then I'll leave and cooperate with Jiang Li. Kaya's verdict said, just wait for your death. Hold on. Jiang Nailan smiled. It's not that we can't discuss this, but the conditions are too harsh. If you ask Jiang Li about this, he definitely won't agree. He'll even plot against you. Don't say so much. Do you agree or not? I saw you refine this planet and want to capture its will, so I know what you want to do. You definitely want to condense the second Great Tao, so you've prepared a lot of resources and materials. How about this? Give them to me. The Scion's judgment extended a finger. You have no other choice, because if you refuse, I'll join forces with Jiang Li to kill you. How overbearing. Jiang Nailan said, all right, I agree. In that case, let's refine this planet together. After I fuse the embryonic form of the Great Tao, I'll give it all to you. I've condensed the Great Tao of Judgment, and its offensive power is extremely strong. It contains many laws, including decree, truth, sharpness, blazing, binding. There's a total of 48 laws. Actually, the Great Tao of Judgment needs 81 laws. They entangle and twist together to form judgment. I've collected 48. I'm still short of half, but refining this planet will give me at least 20 more laws. That way, the Great Tao will be more or less complete. You really agree? Sensing that Jiang Nailan was so straightforward, Scion's judgment frowned. Of course I agree. Of course I agree. Come, Jiang Nailan said. No, let's first swear a primal chaos oath. The Scion's judgment thought of a foolproof plan. Jiang Nailan's expression changed. He wanted to trick the Scion's judgment, but the other party was foolproof and not easy to deal with. I knew you wouldn't agree. Seeing Jiang Nailan's expression, The Scion's judgment immediately knew. You want me to do the hard work for you, refine the planet, and then fall out with you? Very good, your plan is good, but your sincerity is too low. It seems like I really have to kill you. Whoosh! As he spoke, he was about to leave, but the entire space rippled. The starry sky disappeared, replaced by a lonely dimension. This dimension was filled with the color of death, and the planet was wrapped in it. The planet was trembling as if it had sensed that it had entered a strange place. The Scion's judgment was shocked. This is a lonely dimension? That's right, this is a lonely dimension. After I obtained it, I refined it again and merged it with the small world. Now, I've already used it to wrap the planet and set up an inescapable net. Do you really think you can threaten me? You came at the right time. I'll refine you and establish the main soul for this dimension. Jiang Nalan revealed his true intentions. Chapter 469. Jiang Nalan. It seems like Jiang Li was right. You really are unreliable. Just a little provocation from me, and you want to kill me. But don't you understand that if you oppose me, we won't be friends anymore? I will cooperate with Jiang Li and kill you. Seeing that he was trapped by Jiang Nalan in the lonely dimension, Saya's verdict did not panic at all. He was very calm because he was a great Dao expert. What danger had he not experienced? He had conquered countless planes, and the number of experts he had met were as many as the carps in the river. How could Jiang Nalan's little scheme trap him? Saya, what a country bumpkin. He shook his head. Jiang Nalan, you really are a country bumpkin. You've lived here for too long and haven't experienced many dimensions. You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. I'm sorry, but I've explored many worlds, and the things I've experienced aren't any less than you. I only acted because I had enough confidence to kill you. Otherwise, if I let you run away, wouldn't you suffer a mishap? Jiang Nalan said, Saint Ao Gu, come out. As they spoke, a saint appeared in the desolate dimension. He sat there without moving and emitted many angelic radiances. A saint? Saya's verdict shook his head. Do you think this saint is enough to deal with me? What does he count for? In front of a great Dao saint, any saint who hasn't reached the great Dao realm is an ant. He's nothing, but I plan to sacrifice him, Jiang Nalan said. Longevity Codex, come out. A book appeared on Jiang Nalan's body. As it moved, it shone with boundless light, and many runes flickered in the air, filling the entire lonely dimension. Many people think that I've cultivated the supreme Longevity Codex into my own great Tao, but that's not the case. I, Jiang Nalan, am not someone who picks up other people's ideas. Even that Jiang Li could abandon the great Emperor's seal and develop the infinite Tao. Am I worse than him? This longevity, sovereign scripture, is just a magic treasure for me. Naturally, this scripture contains many laws and the grand Tao of longevity. However, my grand Tao of eternal life is fundamentally different from the grand Tao of longevity. You don't know this, but I've been working here for 10 years. Not too long ago, I suddenly took action to suppress him and obtain the desolate dimension. After that, I prepared to break down the longevity paragon scripture into various types of laws and essence power to reforge my foundation. Now, the entire dimension was filled with the runes of the Supreme Sutra of Longevity. Attack. Every time you attack, I will kill you. They're all helping me refine my magic treasures and deconstructing the Longevity Supreme Scripture. This was because the scripture contained a type of law called mirror image, which meant that any attack would be reflected back. Instead, it attacked you. So, what you're trying to say is very simple. Trapping me here and attacking me nonstop is actually helping you? Kaya's expression turned serious. Of course, Jiang Nalan said indifferently. I can't dissect the supreme scripture of longevity with my strength alone. I can do it with your help. Of course, you can choose not to attack. However, if you don't, you'll be trapped here forever. Furthermore, I'll attack you. Here, the law of mirror image will multiply my attacks. In other words, a single attack from me will be equivalent to several or even dozens of me attacking at the same time. Do you think you can block that? Jiang Nalan, you really are despicable. Kaya's judgment sensed the gravity of the situation. He could sense that ever since the longevity supreme scripture appeared, he had been sealed in this desolate dimension, unable to leave. The longevity supreme scripture was written in the language of the primordial gods. The author was the longevity emperor. He was a god himself, and the magic treasure of a god is something you can't break out of. Your world's apart from God, Jiang Nalin said. Originally, I was cultivating a peerless secret technique that I lacked a powerful existence. You just happened to barge in and walk right into my trap. I'll sacrifice St. Augusta to the martial world. Do you know the martial world? The martial world. Kaya's judgment was shocked. This is a mysterious world, the origin of all martial arts. All martial arts come from the martial world. Very few people can grasp the martial world's password, and some don't even know where it is. How did you know? That's why I said you're a country bumpkin. Jiang Nalin was expressionless. Naturally, I've grasped the martial world's password. In this world, very few people can grasp the martial world's password. I even used various opportunities to impart it to someone. You should know Meng Jiangnan. He still doesn't know that I imparted it to him on purpose, thinking that he had a fortuitous encounter. In fact, his fortuitous encounter was arranged by me. The moment he grasped the martial world's password and mastered the divine technique, he became my puppet. How could he be my match? Isn't Meng Jiang and the president of your human race? Kaya's judgment was familiar with the rules of the human race. You actually schemed against him? What is he? He's still my chess piece. Jiang Nalin took a step forward and was already above Kaya's judgment, high up in the sky. There's a great Tao in your body, the great Tao of judgment. It's sharp, unstoppable, and indestructible. It's similar to the great Tao of judgment that I want to condense. If I disintegrate you, I'll be able to condense a great Tao in a few months. I can even condense the laws after you and the Supreme Longevity Sutra into a third great Tao. At that time, who will be my match? Sinister, sinister. At this moment, Kaya's judgment finally understood the seriousness of the matter. If Jiang Nalin's sacrifice was successful and attracted the true meaning of the martial world, coupled with the mirror image laws, he probably wouldn't be able to hold on for long. Most importantly, his attacks were ineffective. If it was a mirror image formed by an ordinary expert, he wouldn't be afraid. But this was a god, a law formed by the eternal emperor. How could he deal with it? He couldn't defeat it all. Enjoy the last moments of your life, Mr. Kaya's judgment. Your dignity, your life, and your memories will disappear today. Jiang Nalin suddenly shook. Rumble. Endless light bombarded down, directly wrapping Kaya's judgment within. Great Tao of judgment. Kaya's judgment moved and his body shot into the sky. The great Tao actually condensed into a staff, a treasure with a blade. He held the weapon of the great Tao and slashed fiercely. The sky was actually sliced open and the dimension was trembling. He wanted to charge out. However, at this crucial moment, there was a person behind him who was also holding the same ruling blade as him and was trying to cut him. Whoosh! The space split open and a dense killing intent filled the air. Kaya's judgment turned back and the great Tao of judgment in his hand swept over. The two collided and his body shook. It was like he had attacked himself. Giant, let's fight. Jiang Nalin said from the depths of the void, just now, your strength allowed me to refine some of the planet's will. As long as you keep fighting, I will soon be able to refine the entire planet and be one step closer to the second great Tao. Oh right, I forgot to tell you that you can't stop even if you want to, because the mirror image law will constantly attack you fiercely. You will be completely immersed in it. You can't stop. Idiot, you are an idiot. You should have trusted Jiang Li, but you came to me to ask for benefits. You want to benefit from both sides? Am I, Jiang Nalin, being controlled by you? Jiang Li, the little emperor, and the others have true God realm godheads, yet they didn't chase after me. Do you know why? They all know how powerful I am, yet you foolishly came here to die. Could it be that the true giant's brain is not working properly? He taunted as everything was under control. Judgment lightning. How long? Messiah's judgment reverted to his true form of 100,000 meters tall giant. His body shook, and an endless sea of lightning spread out, causing cracks to appear in the entire dimension. You want to destroy a great Tao-level powerhouse like this? You're delusional. It seems you won't shed a tear until you see the coffin. Jiang Nalin's body shook. She knew that Messiah's judgment's counterattack was very powerful. Since the other party was determined to break out of this dimension, if she didn't use her trump card, he would really succeed. This time, she had offended the other party to the point of mutual destruction. If she didn't kill the other party would retaliate crazily. Sacrifice. Martial world, communicate. Honglong. Jiang Nalin appeared behind Saint Ao Gu and slashed out with her palm. Saint Ao Gu didn't even know how to resist. His whole body was smashed into a meat patty, but his soul also woke up. Jiang Nalin, you want to kill me, and sacrifice me. You're so vicious. I can't accept this. I cultivated to the saint realm with great difficulty, becoming invincible under the heavens. But today, I was plotted against by you. You talk too much nonsense. If I want you to die, then die. Jiang Nalin formed a seal with his hands and soared into the sky. He was using the martial world's secret code. Rays of light condensed in the sky, as Jiang Nalin sang. In the depths of the distant space-time, the soul of martial arts awakens. The martial spirit that has slumbered for hundreds of millions of years is about to appear in this world, the source of all cultivation. Your Tao technique is unique. Open for me. He shook, his hand moving like a bolt of lightning. Saint Ao Gu's flesh, blood, and soul turned to ashes as a surge of yuan qi soared into the sky. Pure saint essence. Sacrifice the martial world. Open the channel. The immortal martial spirit. You will descend into this world. King of the martial world. Come out. Jiang Nalin prayed again. As you wish. The sacrifice of all the saint's essence, qi, and soul was successful. From the depths of the channel, a vast and majestic voice resounded. Then a palm appeared. This palm was thick, large, and the color bronze. The lines on its surface radiated a golden light like the sun, as if it was a mark left behind by the passage of time. This palm grabbed out, snatching away the mass of essence. As expected, it is the pure essence of a saint. How rare. In the 10,000 heavens and 10,000 worlds, using a saint as a sacrifice is a luxury. Lowly human, I like your contribution to the martial world very much. Lowly human, tell me your wish. You know that this is an equivalent exchange. As long as your wish isn't too outrageous and is worth the price of your sacrifice, I will satisfy you. The giant palm rumbled, emitting this voice. The martial world's heaven's will. Jiang Nalin trembled. He knew that this was the martial world's heaven's will, an existence even more powerful than the gods. In front of such an existence, he was indeed lowly, inferior to even an ant. The martial world was a grand dimension, second only to the immortal world, surpassing the dragon dimension. The heaven's will of this dimension could even exterminate the gods. Ordinary sacrifices were not enough to communicate with such an existence. Only by sacrificing a saint could the martial world's heavens will attract the interest of the martial world's heavens will. Mighty martial world's heavens will, King of Kings, I hope you can kill the enemy in front of you. Jiang Nalin's voice rang out. My apologies, according to the equivalent exchange, killing him is out of the question. However, if you sacrifice a saint, I can heavily injure your enemy. At that time, you can reap the harvest yourself. The martial world's king grabbed out. The giant bronze hand grabbed towards the 100,000-meter-tall, giant-sized judgment. Chapter 470. The martial world's heavenly will was extremely powerful. Even if it was Jiang Nalin, he would be killed in one move. There was no way he could contend against this vast heaven's might. The cultivation world's heavens will was not worth mentioning in front of the martial world's heavens will. Jiang Nalin had the confidence to attack the cultivation world's heavens will, but when facing the martial world's heavens will, he did not even have the thought of resisting. At this moment, he realized that he was a frog at the bottom of a well. In the vast universe and the depths of the void, there were countless powerful beings. Even the gods could not say that they could live forever. Looking at the appearance of the martial realm's will, Jiang Nalan thought, "One day, I will also stand at this height. The martial realms will also be trampled under my feet. I will reign supreme in the myriad of worlds, breaking through everything." This was Jiang Nalan's will, his path to immortality. In any case, he had grasped the martial world's secret art and had sacrificed it to Saint Ao Gu, finally triggering the martial world's heavens will to attack the giant Scion's judgment. The bronze-colored martial realm's heavenly will grabbed at the Saya's verdict. Although the Saya's verdict was 100,000 meters tall, he was like a little chick in front of this huge hand. He couldn't resist at all. Martial world's will. Saya the Adjudicator exclaimed in horror. He was a great path realm cultivator who could move freely in the starry sky and be popular in all dimensions. However, when he encountered the martial world's heavenly will, he could only close his eyes and wait for death. However, he would also fight with all his might. The great path of judgment, destroy the martial world, the great path heart. He roared, and the great path around him turned into a giant heart. Under the grasp of the giant hand, it suddenly exploded. This kind of power was enough to destroy dozens of planets and even cause a disaster in the solar system. Unfortunately, under the martial world's heavenly will's great hand, all the disturbances stopped with just a slight movement. Then, the great hand pressed down. Saya's adjudication released a mournful scream. The great Tao shattered, and many natural laws collapsed. His entire body split apart and shrunk. His energy was greatly damaged. One strike, just one strike. Saya's judgment, a great Tao expert, was heavily injured by the martial world's heavenly will. However, this was because Jiang Nalan's sacrifice wasn't strong enough. An equivalent exchange could only seriously injure Saya's verdict. Otherwise, with the power of the martial world's will, Saya's verdict would instantly turn into ashes. After that strike, the martial worlds will disappeared. But Saya's verdict was gravely injured. His great Tao was shattered, unable to condense, his cultivation dropping by at least 99%. Right now, he was struggling at death's door. He could only be slaughtered by Jiang Nalan. The will of the martial world is really powerful. Jiang Nalan looked at the disappearing heavenly will and couldn't help feeling some regret. Originally, with Saint Ao Gu's sacrifice, he could have allowed the martial world's heavenly will to refine many laws into his second grand Tao. Now it was being used to kill Saya's verdict. However, this wasn't a loss. On the contrary, it was a gain. After refining the Saya's adjudication, he would be able to cultivate his second great Tao in an instant. Not only that, but he would also be able to obtain many additional nomological laws. He could even start the process of condensing his third great Tao. The Judgment Great Tao and the Judgment Great Tao had many similar laws, but their structures were different. After splitting them up and reassembling them, they could be used immediately. Kill. Jiang Nalan took advantage of your illness to take your life. He took a step forward, leaping like a tiger and sprinting like a wolf. Arriving in front of the Kaya's verdict, he wrapped his arms around the Kaya's verdict and began refining it. Saya's judgment no longer had any ability to resist as it sizzled under the intense flames. The nomological laws in his body seemed to be breaking down. His Judgment Great Tao contained many types of nomological laws. What Jiang Nalan wanted to do now was to strip away his nomological laws step by step, and the Judgment Great Tao would naturally collapse. Meanwhile, his nomological laws grew more and more, and he finally cultivated the Judgment Great Tao. No, I can't accept this. I'm so stupid. Why didn't I listen to Zhang Li and come to find you? You're actually so sinister. I hate you. Saya's verdict finally began to regret. It was a matter of life and death. He had no chance of survival. If this continued, he wouldn't be able to protect himself at all. The martial worlds will had broken through his defenses, causing his cultivation to plummet. It would be difficult for him to recover. Originally, A great Tao expert couldn't be killed at all. Unfortunately, Jiang Nalin's calculations were flawless. He had actually summoned the martial world's will and used a saint as a sacrifice. At this time, he began to regret not cooperating with Jiangli. He had thought that he was a rare commodity and wanted to benefit from both sides to obtain more benefits. Greed is your greatest failure. Jiang Nalin grabbed, and Saya's verdict's body once again emitted crackling sounds. It was the sound of the great Tao continuously collapsing and the nomological laws being refined. Suddenly, he jerked violently. Saya's judgment, great Tao, finally collapsed, and a long shining nomological law was extracted from the great Tao. This nomological law was brilliant and twisted like a dragon or snake. It seemed to be formed from many runes, and with a slight shake, there was even a sound of firecrackers exploding. Good. This nomological law is destruction. It's exactly the nomological law that my judgment, great Tao, needs. If I want to condense this nomological law, I need to gather energy from dozens of dimensions, refine it over and over again, and then turn it into an embryonic form. Finally, I need to condense it with my mind, nurture it with my soul, and undergo the 9 revolutions of Dan before finally condensing it into this one. I don't know how much time and effort it takes, and I can't use any shortcuts. I didn't expect to obtain it just like that. Jiang Nalin was very surprised. He no longer had any desires, but nomological laws represented wealth and power. Before becoming a great Tao saint, the difference in strength between saints could no longer be measured by mental energy and vitality, but by the number of nomological laws. Ordinary saints could sweep through the world with just one nomological law and be invincible. And some saints had 3 or 4 nomological laws, 7 or 8 nomological laws, or even more than 10 nomological laws, and they were even stronger. The cultivation of every nomological law was arduous and difficult, and was the foundation of a saint's standing. So Saint Bis wasted 2 nomological laws at once, and his heart ached, and his strength was greatly reduced. And Jiang Li's infinite true qi fused with the 2 nomological laws, allowing him to instantly reach meditative meditation and accumulate enough. In some extremely high dimensions, when saints exchanged with each other, the hard currency was nomological laws. They could even be used as currency. Now, Jiang Nalin had extracted a nomological law from Saya's judgment, destruction, and it had saved him decades of hard work. Crack, crack. One of the nomological laws of the judgment great Tao, destruction, was extracted, and the great Tao immediately began to collapse. Saya's judgment became even weaker. The great Tao was exquisite, and it could not tolerate the slightest flaw. Without a nomological law, the great Tao could not condense into a form. So now, Saya's judgment's Tao was no longer a Tao. It had turned back into various nomological laws, and it had fallen to a lower level. It could no longer contend with Jiang Nalin. I hate, my hate is a curse. Jiang Nalin, you will die a horrible death. Saya's judgment began to curse, desperately trying to protect himself, but to no avail. Another nomological law was extracted from his body. This nomological law was formed by many runes forming a blade-like edge, constantly spinning like a top, but not in the shape of a long snake. Good. Another nomological law. This is destruction. Destruction nomological law. Good. Jiang Nalin laughed. Destruction and destruction. These 2 great nomological laws are mine again. Next, let me see what other nomological laws you have in your body. Is this despair? Is this flying? Is this flicker? Is this giant spirit? Is this void piercing? Is this soul severing? Is this soul devouring? And this is decomposition? It's actually the decomposition nomological law, a necessary material to cultivate the devouring great Tao. Good. My first great Tao is eternal life, the second is judgment, and the third is devouring. His eyes saw through Saya's judgment's body. After analyzing the nomological laws one by one, Jiang Nalin's remaining task was to dig them out from Sai's judgment's body, refine them, and turn them into his own nomological laws. This was a tedious task. However, every time he extracted a nomological law, Sai's judgment would weaken. So, if this continued, he would lose the ability to resist. Just as Jiang Nalin was getting stronger and stronger, nibbling away at Sai's judgment, in Starlight City, Jiang Li was cultivating. Although he was confident of winning, a broken ship still had 3 pounds of nails, and a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Meng Jiangnan was not an ordinary person. If he wanted to defeat his opponent cleanly, he had to improve and guard against his opponent's trump card. It would be best if he could win completely. Otherwise, if both sides were heavily injured, or if he won a Pyrrhic victory, Jiang Nalin would come out to take advantage of him, and he would be hard-pressed to guard against it. You want to raise your level now, and no cultivation will work because you have formed the Great Tao embryo. That in itself is incredible. What you need now is to condense the nomological laws or fuse them with various types of nomological laws. Moreover, you have to understand what nomological laws are. Little Monarch was explaining the Great Tao to Jiang Li. I know about nomological laws. They are one's own will, using the soul as the foundation to comprehend nothingness and form the structure of various truths. Once a nomological law is formed, the Saint Tao is formed. Nomological laws are not spirit, energy, or non-spirit, or non-energy. They're a kind of rule that is above energy. Therefore, no one can defeat nomological laws. Saints can completely crush them with nomological laws, Jiang Li said. But my current realm is the first level of meditative tranquility, which is too far away from nomological laws. No, you have to understand the mysteries of nomological laws, Little Monarch said. Your infinite Great Tao is very special. I haven't seen any records of it. In other words, you might have to figure out yourself in the future to construct the nomological laws. After that, you will have to arrange them yourself, which is 1,000 times more difficult than ordinary people. That doesn't matter. I have absolute confidence. But I want to ask, how many nomological laws are there in this world? Can you tell me more about the nomological laws? Jiang Li's understanding of the nomological laws was still blank because he had not reached that realm, so he did not understand the specific rules of that realm. The nomological laws in this world are endless, and they are constantly being born. There are ancient nomological laws, and there are new nomological laws that are created. Little Monarch said, nomological laws are like martial arts. The ancient martial arts already exist, and people can create new nomological laws. If you want to learn the forging of nomological laws, you must first follow the ancient structure and do it step by step. Creating nomological laws out of nothing is the power of gods. Jiang Li listened quietly and did not interrupt. For example, when the Great Emperor's seal is cultivated to the highest level, the structure of the nomological laws will appear. The Great Emperor's thunder seal contains the nomological laws of thunder, vibration, and magic destruction. The Great Emperor's seal contains the nomological laws of speed, sharpness, teleportation, and flash. These things can only be seen when you reach the peak of the 3rd level of meditative tranquility and comprehend the Great Emperor's seal. Little Monarch said, if you don't understand the structure of the nomological laws, you will not be able to become a saint. Chapter 471. The Great Emperor's seal contains so many laws. Jiang Li found it strange. He had cultivated the Great Emperor's seal to a very deep level, but he had never comprehended the method to condense laws. You haven't reached that level yet. Little Thearka's body moved. When you cultivate it to a very deep level, you will be able to see the various methods of the Great Emperor's seal in your dreams. The Tao of the Great Emperor's seal isn't the Tao of infinity, but the Great Tao of chaos. The Great Tao of chaos is ever-changing, but it has something in common with the Great Tao of infinity. So, if I want to become a saint, I have to choose a law and focus on cultivating it, using laws to become a saint. Then what law should I cultivate? Jiang Li seemed to understand the secret of becoming a saint. You're right. Even though you've comprehended some of the mysteries of the great Tao of infinity, it's still very shallow. To become a saint, you have to choose a law and focus on cultivating it. After you reach the 3 stages of meditation, you will form a small world. Then, you will have to enrich your small world and inject your soul into it. The entire world will finally turn into a law. Only when you have the fundamental law can you become a saint. The process of turning a small world into a law is very important. The choice is also very important. The first law you choose will determine your future. The most profound thing in the Great Emperor Seal is the law of dreams. I think you should use the law of dreams as your foundation. Only then will you be able to become a saint. Little Dharch guided impatiently. There are minor Taos and great Taos, and law should also have strong and weak ones. Which law is the strongest? Zhongli asked. The one known as the king of laws is rumored to be the law of fortune. Little Dharch said, I don't know how to cultivate this law, and it has been lost for a long time. Perhaps in some ancient and powerful dimensions, the gods have mastered it. The one known as the king of great Tao is the great Tao of destiny. It has been lost for countless years, and even the great emperor couldn't find it, let alone the humans of Earth. I only know that the law of fortune, fate, karma, and many other legendary laws can be combined to form the great Tao of destiny. This is the king of great Tao, the root of life. With this great Tao, the condensed godhood can defeat countless godhoods. These things are too far away. It seems like I can only cultivate the dream law honestly and use it as a foundation to become a saint first. Zhongli thought about it. Even a great emperor didn't know the laws in great Tao, so he shouldn't have any wishful thinking. Your path is very difficult. It's like you're opening your own great Tao. Once you become a saint, you'll have to cultivate all sorts of laws and construct your own great Tao. You'll have to take it one step at a time. I don't know what will happen to you. Little Monarch murmured. Great Tao secret techniques are even harder to come by, and creating one's own great Tao is even harder than ascending to heaven. That's right. Why didn't you follow the prescribed order and cultivate the primordial chaos great Tao, but cultivated the life and death great Tao instead? Have you grasped the cultivation method of the life and death great Tao? Zhongli asked. The life and death great Tao is comparable to the primordial chaos great Tao. It's a method of condensing a great Tao that I obtained during one of my explorations. Many laws are combined together, and through various changes, they're condensed together again. Finally, I comprehended and transformed. I originally wanted to condense the primordial chaos great Tao, but in the final transformation process, I cultivated the life and death great Tao instead. On the other hand, Jiang Nalin's immortality great Tao is rare. You should have started from the foundation of the longevity great Tao and added bricks and tiles to it. He's also a genius, an incredible person. Little Monarch didn't belittle his opponent. That's right, Long Yueji, you've already become a saint. What great Tao are you going to cultivate next? I remember that the law you've cultivated is divine might. What great Tao structure does your dragon race's secret technique have? Zhongli turned around and asked Long Yueji. Long Yueji was also cultivating. After she became a saint, she needed to cultivate all sorts of laws and condense a great Tao. This was a long process. The great Tao that our dragon race's secret technique condenses next is the heavenly dragon great Tao. Long Yueji was very familiar with it. The heavenly dragon great Tao contains 18 types of laws. Among them are divine might, heaven's mark, moving clouds, refining stars, berserk, guarding, sturdiness, swallowing, stretching, and flexibility. Next, the law I'm going to cultivate is guarding. This law needs at least 30 years. If I successfully cultivate all 18 types of laws, I might need 1,000 years. It's not a short number. 1,000 years might not be enough. Little Monarch said, 1,000 years is just under normal circumstances. After you've cultivated all 18 types of laws, there's still the process of transforming the laws into a great Tao. If you don't succeed, all the laws will collapse. You'll have to start all over again. Moreover, the failure rate of the laws condensing into a great Tao is quite high. The more laws are combined, the higher the failure rate. It's already a miracle among miracles that Zi Huang was able to transform 72 laws into the heaven-seizing Great Tao. Difficult, difficult, difficult. Even more difficult than ascending to the heavens. Zhongli thought about it. No wonder the sages value the laws as much as their lives. The heavenly dragon Great Tao only needs 18 types of laws, but the heaven-seizing Great Tao needs 72 types of laws. Does that mean that the heaven-seizing Great Tao is much more profound than the heavenly dragon Great Tao? Zi Chengjai was also cultivating, but her understanding of the Great Tao wasn't deep. That's not it either. Little Monarch said, there are strong and weak laws. It's not that the more the better. For example, if you cultivate the luck law, you can use the laws to defeat the Great Tao. Many of the laws in the heaven-seizing Great Tao are weak, not as majestic as the heavenly dragon Great Tao. If you cultivate the heavenly dragon Great Tao and the two Great Taos collide, the battle power might be stronger than the heavenly dragon Great Tao. Of course, this doesn't mean that the heaven-seizing Great Tao is weak. It's because they have different uses. The heaven-seizing Great Tao, as the name suggests, is to seize the fortune of heaven and earth. If you set up a formation, you can forcibly absorb the dimensional energy of 1,000,000 times and cultivate it. The heaven-seizing Great Tao is the most important. In terms of battle power, it is indeed inferior. That's true. Zhongli had a more precise understanding of the cultivation of the Great Tao and laws. He could feel that his soul was getting restless, and he could advance to the second level of the state of forgetfulness at any time. The meditative realm, the oblivious realm, is to forget one's own body and realize that one is a mass of pure vital energy. In other words, one is a mass of origin power. Appearance, posture, structure, everything else is unimportant. Little Monarch was enlightening Zhongli. Once you've comprehended this realm, your body structure will change as well. You'll gradually be able to communicate more closely with your vital qi, preparing for the next realm, the mysteries of space. Furthermore, once you've reached the realm of meditative forgetfulness, the Grand Monarch seal will change again, giving you more time to control the Grand Monarch's relic. In fact, you can even refine the Sovereign's A, I, and seize control of it. I've made some divinations, and I've discovered that your battle 3 months from now will most likely be rather dangerous. Danger? Zhongli didn't believe it. Even if I don't advance, I'm invincible below the saint level with my current strength. Meng Jiangnan won't be a match for me. It's better to be safe than sorry, Little Monarch said. You can't let your guard down. That Meng Jiangnan's luck is unbroken and profound, and his fortune is extremely profound. I'm afraid it'll be very difficult for you to break through his defenses. Let me make some detailed calculations for you. It's very risky. I won't let my guard down. Zhang Li's eyes flashed as he began to calculate. His heart was as calm as still water, like the full moon and the river. Everything was clear, and his primordial spirit was free of impurities. Meng Jiangnan was able to become the president, survive Jiang Nalin's schemes, and reach this stage. He's definitely not an ordinary person. I'm not underestimating him, but I won't treat him as a rival, either. What I know now is, what is Jiang Nalin doing? That Saya adjudicator must have gone to negotiate with him. Did the two of them reach a deal? It's impossible. Little Darch waved his hand. I fought with Jiang Nalin so many times. Do you think I don't know what kind of person he is? Moreover, Sion Kuiper is a very greedy person. The conditions you proposed are very generous, but he still wants to benefit from both sides and obtain even more. He will definitely make even more excessive demands of Jiang Nalin. And with Jiang Nalin's methods, he will do everything possible to kill this person and condense his divine art. Good. Zi Changya clapped his hands. Jiang Nalin has some trump cards, but now that he's using them against Saya, adjudicator, the threat is greatly reduced. When both of them are injured, we can reap the benefits. Long Yueji was also very happy. Saya Adjudicator is indeed powerful. It won't be easy for Jiang Nalin to deal with this person. Hua Ludao nodded inwardly. Back then, When Jiangli was negotiating with Saya, adjudicator, everyone had been watching in the dark in case he suddenly went berserk and hurt someone. I don't think so. Saya, adjudicator, is very dangerous. He might fall into a trap set by Jiang Nailin. Jiang Nailin does have a trump card that can kill a great Dao expert. Little Thearka's words were shocking. You're saying that Saya, adjudicator, will die this time? Jiangli didn't believe it either. They're both great Dao experts, so it's impossible for Jiang Nailin to kill Saya, adjudicator. Even if he wanted to kill a saint, it would be difficult. Think about it. We worked together and used the power of the great Emperor's relic godhead to suppress the Imperial Heaven Sect Master. His power is inferior to ours, and he doesn't have a godhead. How can he kill a great Dao expert? You must be dreaming. Never look down on Jiang Nailin. How old is he to be able to reach this stage? He's the same as you, with endless potential. If the two of you work together, how much light will humanity shine? To what extent would human civilization progress? I don't know. Unfortunately, you're enemies, Little Tharch said. Little Tharch said, this is fate. Come, let's calculate what Jiang Nailin and Saya's verdict are doing. That's true. Jiangli agreed. He stood in front of the great Emperor's relic. The great Emperor's relic shone brightly. Little Tharch took astral steps and started to calculate. He paused with each step, his hands praying. Many purple currents appeared in the depths of the great Emperor's relic. It was communicating with the celestial world. The entire Grand Emperor relic turned purple, and then it started to change color. A faint cyan color flowed out, and not long after, the entire Grand Emperor relic turned cyan again. It glowed with a clear light, and it looked like water was about to flow out. This was the celestial world's favor. The celestial world was a world stronger than the martial world. In this world, there were eternal legends of celestials and supremes of the divine path. Even on Earth, there were legends of the celestial world. In the cultivation dimension, there were even more legends of the celestial world. In fact, legends of the world of immortals could be found in many dimensions and on many intelligent planets. Bang! The great Emperor's relic exploded and turned into a screen. Then, an expanse of light and shadows appeared, as well as howls of pain and intense resentment. They tore through the air, cursing him until the end of time. What a powerful curse! Jiangli was shocked. What kind of resentment is this? Look, it's just as I expected. Little Tharch pointed at the screen. Saya, adjudicator, is at the end of his rope. He's in danger. He'll be killed soon, and Jiang Nailin will become a master of two Daos. Chapter 472. Jiangli took a closer look and discovered that in the depths of a desolate dimension, everything was sealed off. Jiang Nailin's figure appeared above, constantly grabbing at a person in the raging flames, extracting the laws. And that unlucky person was Sion's judgment. Saya's great Dao has collapsed. He's not far from death. Jiangli was shocked. Yes, his resentment and curse broke through space-time. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to divine everything about him. He was plotted against by Jiang Nailin. That stupid giant, a brainless giant. He thought Jiang Nailin was as easy to talk to as us. He wanted to extort money from Jiang Nailin. He walked right into the trap. The Little Tharch cursed. However, we can't just watch and do nothing. If Jiang Nailin refines this person, he might really master the second or even the third great Dao. If that happens, we won't be a match for him. This person is really stupid. When Jiangli saw the scene that appeared in the great Emperor's relic, he didn't know if he should be angry or amused at the same time. Was Sion's adjudication really a great Dao realm expert? But thinking about it, it was because Jiang Nailin had hidden himself too deeply. Who would have thought he was so strong? Saint Ao Gu is dead. He sacrificed the entire Saint realm to obtain the martial world's will. That's why he heavily injured Saya's verdict. You can't blame him for being stupid. Little Tharch observed, the most important thing right now is to save Saya's verdict. I think the first thing to do is to kill that stupid giant, Long Yueji said. Long Yueji said, he is an invader that invaded Earth. He has an army of billions of giants under his command. If we can capture his army in one fell swoop and refine those giants, How much energy would that be? That's right. Hua Lu Dao was very determined, so he had no choice but to reconcile with Sia's verdict. Those who aren't of our race must have different intentions. Since we've captured him this time, we'll capture all of his giants in one fell swoop. Once we refine the billions of giants under him, their souls and flesh will be able to transform the mother nest into a warship. When that happens, we won't have to seize the cultivation world, and we'll be able to lead all of humanity into the depths of space. In order for the mother nest to level up, it required a huge amount of flesh, blood, souls, and resources. Right now, Little the Arch was condensing the second great Tao, and he didn't have enough resources for all kinds of cultivation, let alone leveling up the mother nest. However, if he could really refine the billions of giants under the Sia's judgment, then the power of the mother nest battleship would definitely surpass that of the primary god planet, and he would be able to create another huge base for humanity, one that could travel through dimensions at will. The crux of the matter is that the Scion giants plunder and kill everywhere, and they themselves are evil existences in the universe. That's a good idea. We'll rescue the Scion's adjudicator right now. After that, we can't kill him for the time being. We'll have to rely on him to gather the giants under his command. When the time comes, we'll wait for those giants to gather in the depths of the starry sky. Then we'll set up a grand formation and capture them all in one fell swoop. Lil the Arch said, "These giants will always be a huge threat to humans on Earth. If they come out of the tunnel and swarm into Earth, Earth will be wiped out in an instant. It must be destroyed." "That's true." Zhongli said, "Let's go deal with Zhang Nailin right now, but it seems like Zhang Nailin is getting stronger and stronger. Can we break through his defense?" "Oomph. He used the martial worlds will to fight against the Sia's adjudication, so we'll use the celestial worlds will to deal with him." Lil the Arch had a mocking smile on his face. "He can sacrifice Saint Ao Gu, so I can sacrifice the sect master of the Imperial Heaven Sect. Anyway, the Imperial Heaven Sect is under our control now, and the situation is stabilized. Some of the higher-ups of the Imperial Heaven Sect have also submitted to us, so the sect master is no longer of any use. If we sacrifice him and receive the blessing of the celestial world's will, we can instantly rescue the Sia's adjudication. We can even let him recover." "Let him recover? Then how are we going to suppress him?" Zhongli said hesitantly. "It's fine. We'll just imprison him in the depths of the great emperor's relic. In the depths of the chaos dimension, he'll fall into a state of confusion and fall into layers of dreams, unable to extricate himself. This is a godhead, not some half-baked seal created by Zhang Nailin," Lil the Arch said. "Come, let's set up a great formation and place the Imperial Heaven Sect's sect master on the sacrificial altar." "All right, let's go." There was strength in numbers. With so many saints moving together, the Royal Heaven Sect's sect master was immediately placed on the sacrificial altar. His entire body was restricted by seals, and his mind was in a daze. He did not know what was happening, but there were waves of tremendous power in his body that could not be doubted. "Sacrifice, celestial world's will, show your favor." Lil the Arch seemed to communicate with the celestial world frequently and was familiar with its password. With a simple summon, a gate to the celestial world appeared above the sacrificial altar. A ray of multicolored light shot out, and with a slight sweep, the Imperial Heaven Sect master melted completely within the multicolored light. There was not even a trace of resentment. Owl rang out. "Insignificant existence. What do you want by sacrificing a saint to me? The principle of equivalent exchange is set by all the worlds in the universe. Tell me what you want." "Oh, great celestial world's will," Lil the Arch said. "I hope that you can save a person, help him recover, and seal him in the depths of my true God's Godhead." As he spoke, he had already communicated with the celestial world's will. "As you wish." This is in line with the principle of equivalent exchange. The celestial worlds will suddenly trembled. At this moment, Zhang Nailin was refining the Messiah's judgment step by step. He was very satisfied. "Messiah's judgment. There's no need for you to struggle. Everything is under my control, and there's no need for you to curse me. It's useless, and no one will come to save you. After I refine you, I'll make use of your body to control the several billion giant army under your command. At that time, my strength will be able to crush Earth easily, and it'll be the time for me to do whatever I want. Jiang Nailan grabbed out again. A law known as fury was grabbed in his hand. I can't accept this. I don't want to die. I don't know how many battles I've been through. The Messiah's judgment roared. I want you dead, Jiang Nailan. I'll take you down with me. If there's a chance, I'll definitely join forces with Jiang Li to kill you. You actually dared to scheme against me. You're already in a desperate situation. You're speaking incoherently. Jiang Nailan shook his head. Sigh, the giant's brain is really too stupid. That's fine. Your curse is really annoying. I'll kill you in the end, lest your curse attract the giant's experts. That will be troublesome. But right at this moment, a ray of clear light appeared here. It was silent, without the slightest trace of smoke or fire, and it was as light as the wind. However, in the depths of the desolate dimension, time was rewinding. Jiang Nailan didn't know what was happening, but he saw himself rewinding. The extracted laws returned to Scion's verdict body one by one. The Messiah's judgment once again condensed the great Tao. It recovered its strength. Time is rewinding. What's going on? No, if time really is rewinding, then Saint Ao Gu will also revive. Jiang Nailan didn't know what was happening. He could only watch as his body continued to rewind, but he couldn't control it. His soul and body seemed to be separated. What kind of method is this? It's even stronger than the martial world's will, but there's no trace of smoke or fire. This is... Jiang Nailan suddenly came to a realization. This is the celestial world's will. That's right, it's the celestial world's will. Who sacrificed the saint and activated the celestial world's will? My God. He came to a realization, but he couldn't stop it. The celestial worlds will suddenly moved, enveloping the Messiah's judgment and disappearing without a trace. Instantly, the depths of the silent dimension regained its calm, and all the laws he had extracted disappeared. He even lost Saint Ao Gu. In other words, he had lost Saint Ao Gu in this battle and gained nothing. He had even completely offended the Messiah's judgment. Little D, it was you who sacrificed the Imperial Heaven Sect Master. Not bad, not bad. You won this game of chess. I've lost. Very good. As expected of a 10,000-year-old demon. I'm still a little too young for you. Jiang Nailan smiled. Failure is a lesson. With this lesson, it won't be so easy for you next time. You might even die next time. Failure is nothing. As long as you don't die, you can start again no matter how many times you fail. You thought that by destroying my sacrifice, I would lack a trump card in the future. But you would never have imagined that I still have a powerful sacrifice, a sacrifice that you would never have imagined. The great emperor's relic trembled. A clear light came from beyond the sky, enveloping the Messiah's judgment and entering the depths of the great emperor's relic. Then, the clear light circulated and stabilized in an instant. Then, the clear light disappeared, and a Messiah's judgment appeared in the depths of the great emperor's relic. The celestial worlds will have been used up, Little D said regretfully. Little Darch said regretfully. If we could capture more saints and sacrifice them, we could directly eliminate Jiang Nailan. Now, we've captured the Messiah's judgment? Zhang Li asked doubtfully. He still didn't dare to believe that the arrogant, great Tao expert had been captured just like that and ended up in such a state. Very good, Long Yueji said. How should we deal with this person now? We haven't truly captured him yet. He's just trapped him within. The power of our sacrifice is too small. The sacrifice of the Imperial Heaven Sect Master is nothing. Little D shook his head. If we sacrifice more power, the Messiah's judgment will truly become our puppet. But fortunately, although he's recovered, his vitality is greatly damaged. He's trapped in the dream space in the depths of the Godhead and is confused. Sooner or later, he'll completely submit. Let's go and meet him now. With a wave of his hand, everyone teleported into the space inside the great emperor's relic. The deepest space was the dream space. There were bubbles everywhere, each of them glowing and dazzling like a dream. In the depths of the dream, a person appeared. It was the Messiah's judgment. He returned to the appearance of a 9-meter-tall youth. His eyes were blurry. When he saw Jiang Li and the others suddenly appear in front of him, he immediately retreated. It was as if he wanted to circulate his great Tao to break through and charge out. You guys saved me? The Messiah's judgment hesitated and helped me recover my strength? How did you guys do it? Jiang Nalan can sacrifice himself, and so can we. He sacrificed the martial world's will, and we sacrificed the celestial world's will. Little D went up and said, however, Messiah's judgment, don't act rashly now. You're in the true Godhead, so you can't leave. I'll work with you guys. The conditions don't change, and I'll help you kill Jiang Nalan. The Messiah's judgment calmed down and started to bargain. You're only bargaining now? It's too late. How would Jiang Li believe him now? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.